It's Wednesday, the 8th day of the month of July. Good morning. You're welcome to News Morning here on TV3. I am Enyunam Haliga. Let's look at the headlines. 2 people reportedly killed and 2 others sustaining gunshot wounds following confrontation between police officers and residents of Teshi Nungua in the Western North region. Also, Interior Minister reviews suspected official coalition in the meth shipment as he promises stronger security checks. And much later, the National School Feeding Program to benefit from over 30,000 jerrycans of cooking oil smuggled into the country in 18 trucks. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll rather start on an unfortunate news as 2 people have reportedly been killed while 2 others have sustained gunshot injuries following a confrontation between the police officers and residents of Teshi Nungua in the Draboso district of the Western North region. Now, the incident is alleged to have occurred when officers from the Divisional Police Command went to the community to arrest a suspected drug peddler. Residents claimed that some members of the community attempted to resist the arrest, leading to a confrontation during which the police allegedly opened fire. The injured have been taken to a health facility for treatment. Moving on to some other stories now, as the Minister for the Interior, Mohammed Mutaka Mubarak, says preliminary investigations into the meth shipment intercepted in Australia have implicated some government officials suspected of aiding the concealment and movement of the illicit drug. Now, speaking before Parliament's Committee on Assurances, he revealed that the findings suggest possible internal collusion with some officials allegedly manipulating security system at Ghana's entry and exit points.
For example, in Tema, we have what we call the weapon detection system. It's a hand one that was delivered to us by the German government. But because it's a hand one, using it is more difficult because it uses the human discretion a lot. Our men are on the ground, like this Australian thing that you mentioned in passing. The Director General will tell you, even as of yesterday, we were still interrogating a lot of government officials. You have been Minister for Defense and you know the importance of evidence. It's not everything that I can put out at this stage because we are still investigating and we are still interrogating people. Because there's a lot that are not adding up. You could see that there's some involvement of some people within the system. And we are working at it to try to reach out to as many people as possible that we think might have played one role or the other. Because even if you put all these gadgets, remember that it is going to be operated by human beings. So if the wrong persons are sitting there, you can bring all the gadgets in this world. It will still not be safe. So we have changed our modus operandi, the way we operate, the way we place personnel. I'm sure as former defense, you might have even heard some time back people complaining about the way, the rotation and all those things. All of it is to make sure that we secure our borders. And Mr. Chair, even though you've also been the defense minister before, I want to say that one of the biggest challenges that we have, in my view, is that, like your assertion, can you just focus on Kotoka and Takoradi and Tema? We have 48 legitimate crossing points into our country. 48.
During my time, there were quite a couple of people who had HIV. We called them, counseled them, and told them. It's important you do that. Because trust me, if he's a boy, he may have a girlfriend. And if he's a girl, he may have a boyfriend. And if they are not aware, trust me, the next time this figure will jump to 10,000 or 20,000. So you have to find a way of ensuring them so that they can treat themselves, because getting AIDS, HIV is not the same as getting AIDS. And if the person is having HIV now, the person can live a normal life by taking the drugs. It's not like before where it is a death sentence. No. If the person has the HIV and it has not yet developed into AIDS, and the person continues to take the drugs, the person would actually live a normal life, can give birth, can normal life. It will come a time the person, if continues, cannot even infect people. But if you don't inform them, first, they will spread it, and secondly, they will die early because they will develop into AIDS and die early. So please, find a way of ensuring this. It's huge. I don't know the regions, but it's huge. It's scary.
Well,
So,
I mean, this is a very useful advice. I can assure you that we noted it, and then, especially those with the HIV, we'll discuss to see. Well, yes, you are right. That's public health issue. We were focusing more on the security, but this is something that we should not gloss over because it could lead to many innocent people getting it. So, advice well taken, and I assure you that, especially those with the HIV, we'll try and see what we can do. Thank you.
Now, away from Parliament, we're taking you to the Savannah region, where tensions between farmers and herders intensify over land and water resources as fears are growing that violence could escalate further. A high-level stakeholder dialogue in Damongo is seeking practical measures to end the clashes and restore peaceful coexistence.
For years, tensions between crop farmers and cattle herders have continued to threaten lives, livelihoods and food production across parts of northern Ghana. Disputes over grazing lands, water sources and transhumance routes have repeatedly escalated into violent confrontations, leaving communities divided and raising security concerns. To find lasting solutions, key stakeholders from the Upper West, Upper East and Savannah regions met in Damongo for a high-level dialogue. The engagement, organized by Pro Mediation, in collaboration with the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, brought together representatives from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, security agencies, traditional authorities, MMDAs, farmer groups, herders, and civil society organizations. Participants examined the root causes of the conflict and explored practical ways to prevent disputes from escalating into violence. Speaking at the dialogue, the Director of Animal Production at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Jonas Asari, described the recurring clashes as a major threat to both agriculture and national security. He stressed the need for a clear policy framework to regulate the activities of farmers and herders and strengthen peaceful coexistence.
Livestock, because an adolescent by accident, no go POB form na saying. A pan number first on I had the market. You will show so baby on Bahome, you will veterinary for where show our pan so. It is a good say on Betty and Commodina, Yanase, Futu Edema, no one D. Emrana Yashishan.
President of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, Imam Hanafi Sunday, advocated for the creation of a comprehensive database for cattle owners and herders to improve monitoring, accountability and regulation within the livestock sector.
Because any because nina ebuanyen but nia ewo mu so problems ewo mu no amane hu ewo mu no nso no eno so ya ade a esese den ye hwe na ye tumi to anamon na ye si eno ho kwan ye tumi protect eno na ye dane papa no kwan den e dane papa no kwan edi.
Participants at the dialogue outlined a 4-point action plan focused on strengthening policies governing farmer-herder relations, improving early warning and conflict prevention systems, enhancing mediation and dispute resolution mechanisms, and building trust among farmers, herders, and local communities.
Now to one of our headline stories. The Ghana Revenue Authority has officially affirmed confiscation of the entire 18-truck consignment originally falsely declared as transit cargo. This follows investigations into an attempted transit diversion scheme uncovered in February 2026. Now, the Commissioner General, Anthony Kwesi Sapon, confirmed the seized 39,256 jerrycans of cooking oil has been legally reallocated to the support of the National School Feeding Program.
You have a name in there, but no individual person has actually come forward to say, this is my consignment. So at the moment, we have to close the investigation and move on. Based on the findings, the items will be confiscated to the state. Under the direction of the Ministry of Finance, GRA is allocating the consignment to the National School Feeding Program in support of national cause.
The joint crackdown by National Security and Customs Preventive Officers began when the trucks were intercepted along the Kung barrier toward the motorway on suspicion of local market diversion. A subsequent cross-border investigation exposed a highly coordinated fraud network. Despite border paperwork claiming the cargo was heading to Niger, authentic Togolese customs documents revealed the goods, which originated in Malaysia and Indonesia, were actually bound for Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire.
Our re-examination found out about 39,256 jerrycans of vegetable cooking oil, as against 35,246 declared to customs at the Ghana side, clearly showing under declaration of 4,010 units of jerrycans. We are conducting further investigations into the activities of the agent to ensure that any areas the agent is also found culpable will also be dealt with or sanctioned in accordance with law.
In a firm push for internal accountability, the Commissioner General confirmed that 4 GRA officers who initially processed the illicit consignment have been interdicted.
They are undergoing our internal disciplinary processes to ensure that all officers who are involved in the processing of the transaction and who are found culpable not to have followed due process will be dealt with in accordance with the internal processes and with law.
The GRA maintains that enforcement has been aggressively scaled up at all 3 points to eradicate cross-border financial crimes and protect state revenue.
Now, the Attorney General has laid before Parliament the Tribunals Bill 2026, seeking to revive public tribunals and fast-track corruption, economic crimes and environmental offences. The proposed tribunals face scrutiny over their structure, history and ability to improve public confidence in Ghana's justice system. There's more in the fuller reports. The laying of the Tribunal Bill 2026 in Parliament on July 6 is almost 2 years of extensive work and consultation by the Attorney General to see the revival of perhaps one of the most controversial campaign promises yet. The proposal by the NDC during the 2024 election campaign was that public tribunals would breathe life into dormant constitutional provisions and fast-track the prosecution of corruption and economic crimes. The new bill graciously takes cognizance of the horrid past, hoping of establishing a court system that helps build confidence and trust in the current status quo. The bill proposes the establishment of 2 sets of tribunals. A regional tribunal would currently exist in Article 126 of 1992 Constitution and a district tribunal. For the Member of Parliament for Minsha South and a member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Nana Eje Bafwewa, creating dedicated courts or tribunals for a particular category of cases could amount to an inefficient use of state-limited judicial resources.
I find it so sad that as a country, we want to waste resources like that. You already have a court system. And indeed, in the last 8 years, our court has seen significant expansion across the length and breadth of the country under Nana Addo Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia's government. We had 120 new courts being built all over the country. And so it is not the absence of court infrastructure, right? And therefore, if it is the case that you want specialized courts to deal with specialized situations like mining, then the Chief Justice has been given the power under the Constitution to create divisions of the High Court.
What one notices in the proposed bill is a focus on precedents in respect of an offence under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, that's Act 703. A further read shows it could become a bill that establishes court to deal with the unending battle of illegal mining and environmental crimes in general.
For a long time, civil society has been talking about how the judicial system is not prioritizing cases in relation to environment and particularly in relation to illegal mining. So to see that this has begun and with the government and the AG pushing the bill to Parliament is very important. And like you said, I mean, I see this, looking at the bill as it is now, as more of a procedural enhancement of all the existing laws.
Away from the legal argument, some members of the public say what matters most is a justice system that resolves cases quickly without compromising fairness.
It's a good decision and a good plan that the government, the state, should organize a Galamsey tribunal court, specific Galamsey issues alone, so they can deal with them directly.
The laying of the tribunals bill is only the beginning of the legislative process. It will now be referred to Parliament's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee for detailed scrutiny, where legal experts, civil society organizations and members of the public are expected to present their views. Whether the proposal survives the process could determine if tribunals once again become part of Ghana's justice system. Enyunam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra. Now, away from that, as the water situation in Teshi Nungua and adjoining communities continue to worsen, residents have been compelled to rely on wastewater from the Nungua seawater desalination plant. With water flowing through their taps only once a week, many residents are now increasing pressure to find other alternatives. A report by George Queenan.
Charity Awudi is a first-time mother. She has not been spared from the impact of the water crisis in Nungua and its adjoining communities. Here, water flows through resident taps only on Fridays, forcing them to seek alternative sources. This wastewater of the seawater desalination plant is what some residents use for cooking and washing. She tells me it has helped them cope with the crisis.
So it was Charity that did the whole work. I just escorted her. And, well, just look at the sweat and how I'm panting. And she's someone who delivered 3 months ago. So if she does this 3 times in a day, in a week, you can imagine how stressful it's going to be. And she tells me she's not even well. And you can actually feel it from her coughing. And so this is the trauma she goes through on a daily basis.
So you'll be suffering. I'm even panting. Very, very tired. Just 1 gallon this morning. I can't stand it because I'm very, very tired. It's been like this every day since they stopped bringing water for us. Like, this is how we're managing. So we please beg them to do something about it, because if it keeps happening like this, I don't think we can survive it, because I'm severely sick.
This is the amount of water a household used over the past week for drinking and bathing their children. Due to the inconsistency in the flow of tap water in Nungua, tenants rarely access this very tap. It's a reason the key to this very lock is missing and they can't really be boarded. Hajabuna spends 350 cedis to fill this water storage tank. For the smaller containers, she spends 75 cedis on each. When operational, the seawater desalination plant serves the water needs of many households and surrounding communities. With the current situation, residents are calling on the local authorities to facilitate the resumption of its operations.
It has been a while since. It's not easy. And for some of us, we are unable to fetch water. So if we don't get people to fetch for us, it is very tedious. You can imagine how we feel. It got to a time we went the whole month without water.
Wastewater no e ba no. Eno na nkrofo sa na di dware. De enum de to pure water. Your boka pure water bag ba ko be 12 cedi.
We spend a lot on sachet water, which does not last for more than a day. Government must ensure the plant resumes operation so that our lives can be better.
But we no mun bia no because time anzo we ba no. De bia anzo obi an complain.
The Member of Parliament for Crow and Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Momolate, said in a phone interview that the situation is being resolved. She added that, in the absence of the plant, water tankers are supplying water to residents as an interim measure. George Queenan, TV3 News, Nungua, Accra.
Now, Cabinet is scheduled to meet on Friday to finalize the government's position paper on constitutional review. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that once Cabinet concludes its work, the Legal Counsel and the Attorney General will take approximately 1 to 2 weeks to consolidate the document. The President made these remarks at a send-off for 3 foreign envoys at the Jubilee House.
Quite far. Cabinet is meeting on Friday to complete the government position paper. After that, I think the Legal Counsel and the Attorney General will take about a week or two to put it all together. And after that is done, we'll, together with the Constitutional Review Committee report and the government position paper, we'll hand it over to the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee to kickstart the process of the constitutional review. The 1992 Constitution has served us very well. It's been one of our best constitutions, and that is what has, been the underpinnings of the Fourth Republic. And the Fourth Republic has lasted longer than any other republic in our history. And so we believe that any tweaking of the Constitution will only go to strengthen it even more and make it a living document to take us for the next 30 years. And so we appreciate the support that you have given.
Now, Ghana's reported decision to decline a planned state visit by South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa is drawing mixed reaction from international relations experts. While some say the move sends a strong message over the safety of Ghanaians in South Africa, others warn it could carry diplomatic and investment consequences if not managed carefully. A report by Noble Crosby Annan.
Ghana has reportedly declined a planned state visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, citing growing concerns over xenophobic attacks in South Africa and the safety of Ghanaian nationals. President Ramaphosa was expected to visit Ghana in the first week of August in a trip aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between Accra and Pretoria. But government sources say the current security climate makes such a high-level engagement premature, especially as Ghana continues to raise concerns about the treatment of its citizens in South Africa. The decision follows the death of 40-year-old Bashiru Isaac, a Ghanaian national. Ghanaian authorities say he was killed on June 30 during demonstrations linked to renewed anti-foreigner violence in South Africa. The development has deepened concerns among Ghanaians living in South Africa. Already, close to 1,000 Ghanaians have been evacuated back to Ghana, while about 900 more have reportedly registered to return home as fears of xenophobic attacks grow. South African authorities have, however, pushed back against Ghana's account of events. They say no deaths were recorded during the June 30 demonstrations and have described Ghana's claim as factually incorrect. South African officials are also accusing Ghanaian authorities of spreading false information that unfairly presents South Africa as xenophobic. The development has opened a new debate over whether Ghana's action is a strong diplomatic signal or a move that could strain relations between the two countries. International relations analyst Dr. Elvis Botta says Ghana's position may not be diplomatically wrong.
It is not diplomatically wrong. In fact, it is one of the most persuasive diplomatic positions Ghana can take without necessarily creating tensions in its diplomatic or foreign relations with South Africa. The implications are that there is a very strong economic relations between Ghana and South Africa, ranging from bilateral, international treaties or bilateral investment treaties, etc. Now, this is where we have to be very careful.
For international relations expert Dr. Yao Gebe, Ghana's response is appropriate under the current circumstances.
The government of Ghana has reacted positively to this particular development. In the middle of all that is happening, the killing of Ghanaians, all that attacks, for the president of South Africa to decide that he pays a state visit to Ghana, I find it rather unfortunate, meaning that they are not taking the issue seriously.
Dr. Botta adds, Ghana must now demand more from the South African authorities.
1, credible assurances to the Ghanaian government. Number 2, investigate the killing. Assurances in respect of protection of Ghanaian businesses and Ghanaian personnel who are still in South Africa. And of course, that will also offer remedies where state failure has been established.
Now, away from that, it's time to rethink how we measure what we sell and eat. A survey by the Ghana Statistical Service reveals that traditional non-standard measurement units like the olonka, the cups, bottles and bucket remain deeply embedded in our food markets and homes. However, these informal units are causing massive inconsistency in food pricing and national data because their actual weights vary drastically from region to region.
The Statistical Service has developed a national framework with conversion factors to translate these traditional measures into standard kilograms and grams. At the launch of the non-standard unit survey in partnership with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, government statistician Dr. Alhassan Idrisu explained how this data will transform economic planning.
They deliver accuracy. They are less biased. They remove inconsistencies that quietly distort our estimates. By standardizing the quantities behind food prices, they sharpen our inflation and food price figures. Nationally, one olonka converts to 2.55 kilograms and a tomato paste tin to 1.13 kilogram, though these vary significantly from region to region. Now, contrast that with palm oil we sell in water bottles. Its factors are remarkably consistent across every region, with a large bottle averaging 1.37 kilograms.
While container-based liquids like palm oil show higher consistency, solid food items remain highly volatile due to differing container sizes and farm gate filling practices. To tackle the issue, the GSS has outlined key policy recommendations, including institutionalizing these conversion factors into national accounts.
Build a digital repository, a national database of conversion factors, a curated photo library, and a public reference system kept to date. Harmonize and update. We need to promote standard measurements, reduce regional gaps, and review the units periodically as practices, container sizes, and prices change. The lesson is very, very clear here. Liquids and bottles behave. Solid foods and heaps do not.
The Ghana Statistical Service emphasizes that this framework is a crucial step toward harmonizing food measurements nationwide and ensuring trust in the country's agricultural economy.
And that's how we end News Morning here on TV3. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haliga. New Day continues.
Organized by Knowledge Innovation in partnership with Deloitte and Media General.
Through generations.
For 20 years, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated the beauty and soul of our nation. And this year, I pass on the crown to the 20th queen.
Who wears the 20th anniversary crown? Are you that bold, beautiful, graceful, and proud Ghanaian lady to win the all-new 20th anniversary crown? 200,000 Ghana cedis cash, brand new car, and all-expense paid trip abroad is scholarship for a master's program. Participate in an international event, an ambassadorial deal, a set of gold jewelry, and many more. Join the audition journey. Massive on 8th July at Miklin Hotel. Takrady on 10th July at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel. In Accra on 12th July at TV3. Scan the QR code now to register.
GMV at 20. 20 years of culture, grace, and legacy.
Ghana's most beautiful is 20 years.
Brought to you by Gino. The world around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tamale, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time, the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard, perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abinanya Kwaswini, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
For 20 years, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated the beauty and soul of our nation. And this year, I pass on the crown to the 20th queen.
Who wears the 20th anniversary crown? Are you that bold, beautiful, graceful, and proud Ghanaian lady to win the all-new 20th anniversary crown? 200,000 Ghana cedis cash, brand new car, an all-expense-paid trip abroad, a scholarship for a master's program, participate in an international event, a Zodorio deal, a set of gold jewelry, and many more. Join the audition journey. Nasi on 8th July at Micklin Hotel. Takrady on 10th July at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel. In Accra on 12th July at TV3. Scan the QR code now to register.
GMV at 20. 20 years of culture, grace, and legacy.
Ghana's most beautiful is 20 years.
Brought to you by
Gino Pomo Tomato Mix,
GTP, Kivo Gari 4-in-1 Mix, and Kivo Hot Pepper. Obwasid Numna Wumwankasa, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Fratelli Cali.
And, you know, there are conversations about whether it was a fair game or not.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, Egypt should have at least had the chance to equalize. So that third
but they
goal,
were the first to score.
No, but you know, there was supposed to have been, there was a goal that was disallowed. And then eventually, there was also what looked like a penalty kick that was not given to them because Mo Salah was in the penalty box and then he was brought down. And then the Argentines went to score.
Yes.
But they had just alerted the referee to go and check the VAR to make sure that that was a penalty so that they can also now disallow that goal.
Yeah.
And even Thierry Henry was saying it that just for the sake of fairness, also because the VAR team now alerted the referee even after the Argentines had gone to score to disallow that goal.
Oh, and that was dismissed.
Yes, from, the goal from the Egyptians. They should have done the same for the other side as well. So I don't know how you feel about it, but this morning...
we didn't get, the African teams didn't get the chance for the penalties and all of those. Remember that Carlos also complained about...
That's the problem. We deserved a penalty.
Well.
Yes, I think against England or so.
Yeah.
And they didn't give us that penalty. They didn't even look at it.
Yes.
And it's the same thing that a lot of people feel should have happened to
That's why you say, I think the VAR went to have a coffee or something, so he was hoping they would deal with it.
I mean, if you ask me, to be fair, I thought that the referee should have at least gone to check the VAR.
Yeah.
If you go and check and review,
yeah,
and you come back and say after reviewing you didn't think that was, because to an extent it also sort of looked like, there was a dive, but at the same time there was also, a kick somewhere.
Yeah.
But he should have just reviewed it, just to make it fair, so that the Africans don't feel as if there's a deliberate attempt to get Messi, especially, into the finals or to the next round, because that's sort of how it looked. But for Messi fans, they don't care. They say,
of course,
they won. And I thought that the Egyptians also lost guard, because how do you lead by 2 goals?
Exactly.
Come back in the second.
Yes.
And the moment they came back in the second half, you could tell that their gameplay had changed.
Yes.
So they weren't really in charge like they were in the beginning. And I could just tell that from the way they were playing.
And
they don't take care. They would lose.
That's my problem. You find that with even the Black Stars and other African countries, the moment they score first, they want to relax. But the question I asked myself was, you can't be playing with Messi, and even if you've scored 10 games, just relax, because something could happen before the game ends. And look at it, almost last minute, less than 5 minutes,
and he
right?
kept trying.
Exactly.
Especially because he missed the penalty. So I'm sure he was thinking in his head that I'm not going to allow my people to blame me for our exit in the competition.
Yes.
So if I have to do everything to make sure I score, then I will. And he attempted a number of times, and eventually a goal went in.
Yes.
And I think that just opened the window for them to try again, and they scored.
From 0 to 3 against 2 eventually.
Incredible. That's incredible. But the Egyptian coach made a sign. It's a sign apparently that indicates that you have to say no to racism when it comes to football. So he had done this the whole time. And because it looks like there was something that was said from one of the Argentines to the coach's brother, his twin brother. And that's when he did the sign to show that say no to racism. He was now alerting the officials as well. Then he got a yellow card for doing that. So it's like a very complicated thing.
I mean, it's interesting that happened because,
further.
It's just few hours after Imape's issue with the Paraguayan senator.
Yeah.
And already yesterday, I saw the United Nations has also spoken about it, using the same words as Imape used, that the woman was being despicable, etc.
She said she wants to sue Mbappe.
Yes.
The nerve.
But the French government has also indicated that it will go ahead. And even Emmanuel Macron has responded, saying that was a goal against racism. And so this is a row that has started. I don't know how the senator is going to win.
I don't even know where she came from all of a sudden to make that statement.
Yes.
Because it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Your team lost. What's your problem? Because they played a very bad game. If you ask me, they were too aggressive. They were deliberately trying to hurt the boys.
Yeah.
So take it as it went and just go home. And now you are, if you even want to comment about the game, comment. But don't now come and talk about the fact that he is a Cameroonian who thinks or who feels like he's French. I mean, that was below the bar.
And you know what amazes?
You don't make that statement
Yes.
at any point. And her excuse was that she grew up from a generation that makes racial slurs like a common thing. And so she doesn't see how we're overreacting because they say, I don't even want to repeat what she said.
her own mixed race background and how that was used against her. And I'm like, if you've suffered that, should you actually escalate that against another person? And so,
But that tells you the mentality that a lot of these people have.
Oh, yes.
concerning Africans.
What did Hurricane say about us when we beat England to it? I mean, it was a draw.
And that's what people are saying, that if you can even say that to someone as influential as Mbappe, then the regular black person in your country or on the ground, only God knows what you can even say and what you're thinking about that person as well. And I don't know how long it's going to take us, as human beings to accept that regardless of your race, we're still one. I really don't know how long it's going to take us. But it's also a wake-up call to us because, we see, a lot of Africans see, the lighter-skinned people, the white people, and we assume that they're gods. So sometimes they come into the country, and what we won't do for a fellow black person, we will go over and beyond and do for the white person. Not to say that we shouldn't, but we should be able to treat each other equally or fairly. Because a lot of Africans, unfortunately, treat white people even better than their own people. And we'll give up our own people just to please a white man.
And it's sad if you've lived outside of Africa, in a place where there are a lot of white people, even how the immigrants, unfortunately, behave. I mean, I've seen people dress in a way that you're like, you don't have to have plenty of money to dress well. And the first thing or the way people will react to you, first of all, even before they get to know you, is how you're dressed. And so if you're dressed down, looking all the hair disheveled, all of these things, people will treat you badly even before they get to find. And unfortunately, I saw a lot of that. And I was very disappointed. And it is not a justification for how blacks are treated outside, but how you've presented yourself alone would get people to treat you that way. So
why do you think a lot of black people are investing heavily in designer brands, especially out there? When you're going shopping, even when you're going shopping. Now, for a lot of black people, you have to wear all the designer stuff because then when you walk into the shop, they know that this person can afford. But if you go, like you said, looking even regular, not even disheveled, but looking very regular, not wearing any brand and stuff, they look at you and assume you are going to steal something from the shop. And I've experienced that before. So I remember there was one time I was in one of these countries, and when I'm shopping, it takes me a while to decide. Like when I see two different colors of the same thing, I'm standing there like, should I get this? Should I get that? So I'm always very confused, and it takes me a while to decide. There were a number of other people in the shop, and they were also white. But I think I was probably the only black person. When I was standing there, I could feel that there were some eyes that were staring at me the whole time.
What is she trying to do?
So the security guy was at the main entrance. But I'm sure someone probably was watching me and alerted him that there's a black lady here who seems to be standing at one place. So I noticed that he walked all the way and came to stand at the beginning of the aisle. And now started looking at me. And he didn't take his eyes off. Yeah. He didn't take his eyes off until I made a decision. So when I saw him, I was like, God, maybe this is you saying I should pick this color. Let me just take it because I was upset. And I was rolling my eyes because I was like, why do you think that I'm probably going to take something from the store and not pay? Yet you're not watching the other people who are also in the other.
I mean, the kind of impression. I remember going to a shop and it was in the city center. I didn't know it was actually one of the expensive shops there. Just got a few items and it was already over 200 euros. So when I got to the counter, the lady said, "Are you going to take all of that?" Like she was surprised that I was going to spend that much. Just to get these few items. And another place where I used I've forgotten the currency, but it was less than 100 euros. It was 50 euros to buy an item that was just some cents. And
they said they won't
the way she behaved, that was like the first time I experienced the real racism. Like, I don't even want to, get
wondering
that.
how you're able to afford, or how come you have that currency?
Yeah,
right?
So, I mean, it's really bad. It's bad.
It's also why, for a lot of Africans, they were throwing their supports behind Egypt. First of all, of course, because Egypt is an African country. But also there have been numerous reports indicating that, especially in Argentina as well, the issue of racism is very intense. Very intense to the extent that there was a deliberate attempt to get rid of all the black people within Argentina. So if you go to that country, we're told that you barely see Africans or anybody with the brown skin color or stuff. I mean, those are concerns that people have as well. But, well, we're equal at the end of the day. If you ask me, we're all one. It doesn't matter what color you are.
If you cut my skin, it's the same red blood that comes out.
And I just hope that as Africans, we treat ourselves better so that way, collectively, we can demand that respect. Because if we're divided, then they'll continue to conquer us.
Yes.
But if we're united, it helps.
And be proud that you're African.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Of course, of course. Do you see how flawless we look this morning? Hello. Anyway, well, let's move away from that and talk about a number of other things as well. This morning, we have a number of concerns, but most importantly, we're going to be updating you on the weather, just to let you know exactly what to expect. As I was leaving home, the rain showers were already coming. You know, it got quite intense at a point, and then it slowed down a bit. But in another community, I'm told around the Oyarifa area, it was actually raining.
Oh.
I don't know if it stopped or if it's continuing. So we're going to take a look at the weather and update you so you know what to do if you haven't left home already. I'm sure some of you are even now getting up. Yeah, now waking up.
They are like, okay, let me check what's happening
so
this morning.
Do you know what time we wake up to go to work? But it's fine. We'll keep you updated. But if you are in bed feeling all lazy and now stretching,
yes,
you are lucky. You could have been here talking. But we'll update you on the weather as well. So
I went to the salon one day and the lady was like, what time do you get to work? When I told her, I said, oh, by that time I'm now stretched, you know. It's like, that's when the sleep is very sweet. Yes.
That's a sacrifice.
But it doesn't look like we should be expecting a lot more rains today, in Accra in particular. I think I saw about 30% chance of rain in most parts of the capital city, as well as some other places. But I think there's a place like Tafo, which is expecting about 60% of rain, the possibility, and also a number of areas in the western region as well. So wherever you find yourself in the country, just be prepared. We're still not out of the rainy season yet. So be prepared and ensure that you're safe.
I just pray it doesn't rain. I mean, for the sake of, you know, those communities that are already reeling from the floods, have not recovered their items, because you visited Alajo 2 days ago. Yesterday, Cookie was in Chado, and people are still drying their mattresses. They're still washing their clothes. All the appliances are destroyed. Only God knows what could happen if we encounter another, you know, intense rain in this country. And so, for a lot of us, when they tell us to expect rain and it doesn't happen, I'm not the type that will go against Ghana Metro. I always just say thank you, God, because I don't want people to go through that, you know, a process all over again. So if we can stay away from rains for the next couple of weeks, I would be happy.
In Accra?
I would be. Not in Accra, all across, because it didn't just affect people in Accra.
Yes, but there are some people
in the central
who
region
need
and the
the
Volta
rain.
region.
Yes, in certain areas. You just
we have to wait. We have to wait at this point. I know some people need the rain, but I don't think we can ever get over the fact that now it's not even just 34 people. Yesterday, a body was discovered as well. So now the number has shot up to 35.
Yes.
Only God knows how many more bodies we're going to discover as we move along. And if it rains that heavily, or even if it's just light showers, whichever way, we do not want to encounter floods in any form anymore.
And you know, yesterday,
and so we hope that maybe if, yes, some people need the rain, maybe it should be as light as possible, enough for them to get the amount of rain they need, but not to go into people's homes and destroy things.
You know, yesterday, driving through the La area, Chado in particular, I saw that they had dredged some big gutters there, and I was hoping that this is not just for this rainy season. There has to be a way of regularizing the dredging of our gutters. With that, whether or not it is time for rain, we are not bothered. And when we finish dredging them, let's take the sills off the shoulders of the road.
That's the most
important.
Let's
take them away. Because then we leave them, the next rain, they wash back into so it's like square one of what we've done. And I know that it is happening across other parts of the capital city as well. Yesterday, we had the mitigation task force plus garage officials, among others, going to Oyarifa in some areas. And it was part of things that they were going to do. It should be a regular system, like a timetable where we know every 2 months, every 2 weeks, we are dredging these gutters and drains, just so we don't wait until rainy season for us to do that, because again it would be reactionary, because the damage would have been caused already.
I mean, this weekend we're all getting ready to clean our environments per the president's announcement as well, and so it starts on Friday. We're expecting that the MMDAs and of course the ministries, etc., the government institutions are the ones who are going to start and spearhead this campaign of ensuring that our communities are clean. And then on Saturday, the rest of us are expected to also come out and support in the cleaning process. So just in front of your house, I'm sure everybody probably has a gutter in front of their homes, or I mean just around as well. We entreat you all to come out and clean your environment. And we hope that we're going back to that point where, you know, it becomes regular. So if it's once a month where everybody comes up, because we used to have that in the past. In fact, I remember just a few years ago, I think under the NPP as well, the former Greater Accra Regional Minister, I've forgotten his name.
Is it Henry Quartey?
Henry Quartey. I remember that in the business district, the central district of Accra, every first Friday or last Friday of the month when you go to the market, all shops are closed in the morning.
Yes.
You are not allowed to open because you're supposed to ensure that you're taking part in the cleaning exercise, ensuring that the whole community is clean before the markets are open.
We brought that back recently.
Yeah. And I remember that there was one time I went to Accra with my sister or so. It was around that time because we had to go and check on some items. When we went, it was very early. And they said we cannot open until...
It happened to me
too.
Yes,
Yes, until the cleaning exercise is done. And so you will have to either wait or go and come back at a later time. And I respected that because we have to do it, whether we like it or not. Is it an attitudinal problem? To a large extent, yes. Is it an engineering problem? Yes. But at least for us to change our attitudes, let's be intentional about keeping our environment clean. So if you're going and you realize that there's some, you know, there's some piece of plastic somewhere and you can pick it up, do so. If you also have piece of plastic on you, keep it in your bag, in your pocket,
and don't
wherever.
be driving and be throwing things out of your car. Do you know the Polo area around the airport? I was just behind a very fine car. And then I saw just thrown out of it. I nearly stopped to go and tell this guy, why have you, so this thing you've put there, who should come and clean it for you? But I just said, just move on because sometimes some fights are not worth it. And but when I moved on, I actually regretted I didn't stop to tell the guy what you did was wrong.
We've seen videos of people confronting such persons as well. I think there was a coconut seller who was done, and then the coconut husk, he was standing by a large drain, and he was just tossing it in. And someone actually recorded him. I was asking him that, because, I mean, why do you do such a thing? I remember I went for an event as well recently. There was a beautiful young lady. It was muddy that day, so... Of course, after the event was done, because it was in the grass, so everybody was wiping their feet. And the moment she finished wiping, she tossed the tissue on the ground. I said, oh, but you're too beautiful. You're too beautiful. Why would you do this? And I'll be surprised if she's watching. She was standing there with a male colleague of hers. I was like, oh, my dear, this one, dear, you didn't try. Don't do that. So she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she picked it up. So if we can all approach them in a nice way. But it's not everyone who will respond.
Of course.
You know, in a pleasant manner. They might be offended that you're saying it, but say it anyway. Because we all have to take part in this process to ensure our environment is clean.
It's like somebody driving slowly ahead of you and you trying to get the person, and especially when they're on the phone, they'll tell you, any chief farmer, so never drive over it's and they know they are clearly wrong. So there's a lot for us to do.
Yeah, there is. In fact, this morning we're going to be talking about, you know, a decision that's been made, or in fact, an advice that's been sent to Parliament from the Council of State, indicating that that review process that's ongoing to reverse the law, the constitution that bars government officials from holding office if they are dual citizens. Well, there's a review that's ongoing. In fact, the first reading has happened, and so I'm sure that Parliament was going through the review process to ensure that it is also repealed and reversed. But the Council of State says they don't think it should be reversed, that its constitution should hold. And so we'll get into that conversation. I remember that the President, during his town hall meeting in the UK at the end of May, had touched on it, and he referenced James Gyakye-Quayson, the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, because he was in the crowd as well. He said that he likes to call it the James Gyakye-Quayson law because he was the one that in recent times suffered the most from this dual citizenship issue as well. And eventually, you know, even before that, he had renounced his Canadian citizenship, but there was a law, there was, you know, a case that was filed in court. It went through the whole process. They had to vote all over again. So he was saying that he backs that review and hopes that eventually it can be reversed, especially because we have a 17th region indirectly, and that's the diaspora, because they contribute heavily to our economy as well. But the Council of State has a different opinion, and they don't think that it should be reversed. So we'll get into that conversation. There's also a new report, a 2025 report from the Auditor General, indicating that monies have been misappropriated. There are some irregularities. We're still losing a lot of money, billions of Ghana cedis. And so we will get into that conversation as well on the big issue with your usual friends on Wednesday.
Zato and Solomon.
Yes, Zato and Solomon will be here. Look forward to it. But for this morning, let's talk about the South African president.
Yes.
And the fact that apparently a visit that was supposed to have happened in recent times was rejected by the Ghanaian government because of the recent xenophobic attacks. We've heard from the government spokesperson.
Yes.
He says that it wasn't a rejection necessarily, but we've just postponed that visit, and it's not because of xenophobia necessarily.
Yes.
But also just to avoid, complicating issues. That's why they are preventing him from coming at this time. He was supposed to come in August, but we've had to postpone it as well. So we'll get into that conversation.
But really, there have been a lot of reactions since the graphic posted that in the morning of yesterday. So many reactions, people rejoicing over this. We've even had international relations experts talking to us. And really, whether it's a rejection or a postponement, at the end of the day, international laws really permit a country to either allow or deny any person from entering its territories. And so, yes, let's see what happens in the next few days, and hopefully, just like we were talking about clarity on Carlos Queiroz's statement, there should be clarity on this really moving forward, and what is important. But yesterday, I remember a conversation I had with one of the international relations experts saying that if it is a rejection, it may not strain our relationship now, because at the end of the day, Article 9 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, 1961, already allows nations to declare people persona non grata, or just either deny them or ban them completely. But it becomes a problem in this state, or at this moment, it is just a denial. A denial may not necessarily have that permanent rippling effect like you would if it was a total ban.
Exactly.
And that's where the problem is, so that it doesn't escalate from just a denial, although Felix Kwachofosu is telling us something different, to a total ban, which would have ramifications for us economically, because we have South African businesses in Ghana, and we equally have business interests in South Africa as well. So again, it depends on, and I want to believe that actually these two countries, which have had mutual relationships, would manage this well, irrespective of the xenophobia happening. And we've already counted the cost, as it were, of the economic implications if Ghana was to retaliate because of what's happening in South Africa. So I'm just hoping that the interests of both countries will stand tall. At the same time, our ability to also respect human rights and the rights of our citizens as well. We just need to weigh these two and ensure that it's a win-win situation for both of us.
The question is, which one is more important at this point? South Africa has responded. And they're saying that, first of all, they did not even put in a request to visit us over, our xenophobic attacks. And they're saying that there was no state visit request. His office clarified, Ramaphosa's office clarified, that he did not request a state visit to Ghana. Diplomatic communications were instead focused on routine arrangements to co-chair the upcoming session of the Ghana-South Africa Binational Commission in Accra. So the BNC meetings, which were originally scheduled for early August, were postponed, with South Africa formally requesting the delay and Ghana agreeing. This is what South Africa is saying. So both nations plan to use diplomatic channels to reschedule at a mutually convenient date. But from what we're hearing from Mr. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, he's saying as well that, and he didn't indicate necessarily that that request came from South Africa to postpone and Ghana agreed.
Yes.
Now, he spoke on radio yesterday, and he says that this visit had been in the pipeline before the latest attacks targeting foreign nationals. He says, let me indicate that this visit had been planned well in advance of the outbreak of the recent attacks. Indeed, it was slated to take place early August 2026. But given the outbreak of these attacks and all the issues that have arisen therefrom, we sent a diplomatic communication to the South African government that we believe it is best to defer the visit until such a time when these matters have been resolved and there is relative calm. So we are saying from our side that we're the ones who sent that communique to postpone. I'm reading from the South African government as well.
Saying
They're saying that they're the ones who sent that communique to postpone, and we agree.
You know, when you were reading the bits of the South African authorities, I was just remembering what was reported to have happened between U.S. President Donald Trump and the Italian Prime Minister, and BBC even reported that. So, well, these are international political stuff. We will still get to know the truth with time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so that ushers us into our This Morning segment right now.
And that is this morning's segment on New Day on TV3. And we're telling you that we're going to take you through how the weather is going to look like, not just this morning, but for the next 18 hours, as given us by the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And so, in summary, they're telling us that there will be chances of isolated slight rains expected, of course, for the coast and forest belt, whilst portions of the transition belt will experience isolated thunderstorms or rain. And also, in the midst of that, we should expect mist and fog patches to reduce visibility range during this period. Remember, it's an 18-hour forecast. Now, again, it says, as the day progresses, brief spells of sunshine are anticipated to prevail for most places in the country, with the likelihood of thunderstorms and rain of varying intensities occurring over parts of the coast, middle, transition and northern sectors. And that's what I was saying earlier, that it doesn't look like we have the same percentages across the country. I mean, you have Aplao, which is in the Volta region. This morning, slight rain of about 30%. And then in the afternoon, we should be expecting some thunderstorm with rain, but it is still within the range of 30%. And in the evening, it goes up to 40%, still with thunderstorm. So the thunderstorm expected to start from afternoon and last till evening, with the rain increasing an extra 10%. That is what the probability is saying. Angloga still in the Volta region is the same, 30% in the afternoon, and the same, looks like within the same terrain, we should be expecting similar percentages in terms of the probability of rains. Now you come to Accra and it says that we should expect about 30% as well. And then in the afternoon, it's going to be sunny. And in the evening, we go to that forecast that we've been giving from the Volta region area. In Kasua, that's heading towards the central region, we should be expecting some slight rains this morning, also within the same range of about 30%, and is going to have the same weather condition in terms of afternoon, going to be sunny like we're going to have in Accra. And then in the evening, there's an additional 10% probability of rain in that part of the country. Winneba also in the central region, Cape Coast and Takoradi, which is in the western part of the country, plus Axim also in the western part. All of these are expecting the same percentage of rain, that's 30%. And then when you get to the evening, it's going to be mostly cloudy for these areas that I've mentioned. Axim, 30%. Now, back in the Volta region, we're going to have mist. We should be expecting about 40% of that in the morning. It drops to 30%, but 30% with thunderstorm and, of course, rain associated with it. And then you go to the evening, you get your Oxo. Okay, it shot up by 10%. Rains with thunderstorm. Koforidia in the eastern region, you have about 30%. So mostly the 30% seems to be running through across parts of the country, not just in Accra, but also in the Volta, Western and other parts of the country. I want us to go to Seshi, Bekwai, and Takwa area, Ketekrachi, Atebubu, Ejura, Kintampo. Kintampo, of course, in the northern parts of the country. Sunyai, within the Middle Belt. Techima, and also within the Middle Belt. Sampa. All of these are expected to have about 40% of rain with thunderstorm. That should be in the morning. And then when you get to the afternoon, it's a mixture of sun and also, yes, just a bit of rain as well with thunderstorm. That's when you get to Bolga, which is in the upper east of the country. Nanlerigu, Wa in upper west. Also Jirapa in upper west as well. And then that will be for the morning. When you get to the afternoon, it looks like we should be expecting a lot more of rain with thunderstorm, particularly Tamale in the northern region, all the way to Damango, Bolga, Nanlerigu. So that's like in the northern parts of the country. They seem to have the same expectation as regards what we should see in terms of rain and thunderstorm. And again, the Ghana Meteor Agency is telling us that the state of the sea will be rough. We've had this forecast, as it were, regarding the state of the sea for a period of time. Aside from the day of the rain, which caused the devastation Monday, the 29th of June, it looks like after that day, from Tuesday up until now, we've had this forecast of the sea going to be very rough, and obviously still cautioning people, if you are around this area, you need to be careful as well around the sea. But basically, this is what we should be expecting, mostly 30% of rain in most part of the country, and of course other places 40% with thunderstorm also expected. Yes.
I see. Well, that's a caution to you if you find yourself within those environments as well. Just stay alert. If you have to leave home now, of course, make sure that you have all the requirements needed to ensure your safety. But let's get into our this morning conversation as well. And so a story broke yesterday. It was originally from Graphic Online that indicated that a visit that had been apparently requested by the South African government to have their president, Cyril Ramaphosa, visit us in Ghana had been rejected by the Ghanaian authorities. And it said that the government had declined a request for a state visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, citing heightened concerns over recent xenophobic attacks in South Africa that have affected nationals. And it says, according to Daily Graphic's diplomatic sources in Accra and Pretoria, the decision followed a surge in anti-foreigner violence in parts of South Africa and in recent weeks that led to the repatriation of approximately 1,000 Ghanaians, with an additional 900 who are said to be registered for repatriation and are on standby. In fact, we heard from the High Commission from Ghana to South Africa over the weekend, speaking to Alfred on the key points, and he indicated that, yes, they do have about 900 people who are on the waiting list. They are only waiting for the Foreign Affairs Commission to give them the green light so they can make arrangements to bring them back home to Ghana. And so this broke out yesterday, and then the South African government responded. In fact, the spokesperson for the president in South Africa now came out and said that these reports were not a clear indication of what exactly transpired between the two nations. And while they said that, no, he did not request a visit, but like I read earlier, diplomatic communications were instead focused on routine arrangements to co-chair the upcoming session of the Ghana-South Africa Bi-National Commission in Accra. And in fact, the South African government was the one that formally requested the delay, and Ghana agreed on it. Now, we have the spokesperson for a presidency here in Ghana, Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, who says that There was no rejection outrightly. In fact, there was a meeting that was already in the works. It was supposed to have happened in August, but based on the recent tensions, they thought it was fair to at least delay his visit to Ghana until a time when, those xenophobic attacks had gone down a bit. And so we'll speak to a foreign relations expert at this point. Let's pick his thoughts on what he makes of this situation and, of course, the way forward with regards to the diplomatic relations that we have between Ghana and South Africa. Dr. Nana Yao Miriku is an international relations expert. He joins us via phone. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. We hope you're well.
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. So first of all, we've heard from the rejection from the South African government. The spokesperson for their president has spoken, and he describes that communique as misinformation. And he was even actually cautioning Ghanaians to stay away from misinforming the rest of Africa with regards to that visit. But in fact, he also indicated that they were the ones that now requested for a delay or a postponement in that visit to Ghana for the BNC meeting. We've heard from the Ghana spokesperson for government as well, and he says that it was because of these xenophobic attacks that they asked that, that visit, which was already in the works, be postponed at least till tensions are calmed before that visit happens. Where do you situate both statements? And do you think that there has been some misinformation here or there?
Well, once again, good morning to you and good morning to your viewers. I think that, first of all, what is happening now seems to be more like a diplomatic row, right? The back and forth between Ghana and South Africa. And these are not abnormalities. They are not isolated incidents in international relations. They happen every now and then. Ghana has had a similar situation with US, if you quite remember. But at the end of the day, where there is a need for mutual cooperation, I think that we are able to rise above the differences and work together. That said, my opinion is it doesn't really matter who calls the visit off. What you must appreciate is that the political and diplomatic atmosphere seems to be very charged. There's a lot of tension around. And so whether it's coming from the Ghanaian government or the South African government, at least both of them have come to the point of realization that it's a moral absurdity to want to visit Ghana at a point when we are expecting so many answers from the South African government and nothing evidential has been provided in response to that. I think that it would not be right. It's one of the instances where you see the foreign policy of a country aligning with public sentiment. Because look, Ghanaians are not happy with the South African government. And I've always quoted Desmond Tutu, one of South Africa's own. And he has said that in terms of injustice, if you choose to stay neutral, you have taken the side of the oppressor. And that is what people are perceiving the South African government to be doing. They seem not to be condemning it. They might have condemned it, but they seem not to be doing it in a way that really brings wit to the matter for people to see that they are really condemning the perpetrators of this crime. And for Ghana, our citizens have been in distress. We have had to fly them out of the country like every government with its sort will do. I think that what the straw that broke the camel's back was the death of the Ghanaian citizen in South Africa. And we're expecting significant responses from the South African government. And the fact that they have not provided evidential responses, all they have tried to do is to provide symptomatic responses and to distance or dissociate themselves or the government, South Africa, from the death of the Ghanaian in South Africa. It could be that there is some, it's not related. But the fact that this happened draws inspiration from the xenophobic sentiment hovering around South Africa in the past, few months. So I think that the political and diplomatic atmosphere is very charged. It doesn't make no moral sense for the president of South Africa to visit this country. So it doesn't matter who really called the shot off. The fact that this has been called off, I think, to me, is a step in the right direction. Until matters fall, until tempers come, in my opinion.
You made reference to that unfortunate incident where a Ghanaian was apparently killed. And like you rightly said, yes, they're trying to disassociate themselves from it because they're indicating that death happened on the 29th of June, whereas the protest took place on the 30th. And so it's not related in any way. But you're saying that beyond that, they should provide evidence to support that?
Look, I think that if the shoe was on the other foot, and the South African citizen has gone through what happened to the Ghanaian citizen, the South African people will be on the neck of Cyril Ramaphosa to demand the same thing Ghanaians are demanding from that government. South Africa has a responsibility as a functioning state to provide these kind of protection to people in that country. Otherwise, your capability as a functioning state is even questionable. So we don't even, for the sake of diplomatic nicety, for the sake of South Africa's own political capital, knowing that it's been in the news for these kind of xenophobic sentiment, it was in South Africa's own interest to significantly provide evidence. And you see, I have a problem with the South African government. I think that they need to work on their PR. They need to work on their Ministry of Communication, because it comes across as their responses have been counterproductive to the image that they seek to project, to the rest of Africa. I think that their responses, the response from the Ministry of Communication and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not helping matters. I think that their public relations come across, in my opinion, as being pompous, as being defensive, when rather they really need to sit down for self-introspection and self-reflection to come up with responses that are temper calming than what is happening. So I think that the days and weeks coming ahead of us will really show. But I've always said that diplomatic disagreements and diplomatic wars happen every now and then. They are important for the heroes of diplomacy to move, and I think that this won't be an outlier. This won't mean that the relationship between Ghana and South Africa have gotten to the nadir of deterioration. I think that it is right. Ghana must register her sentiment through all available means. It must have some gravity and intensity. I think that the Ghanaian government has so far done excellently well. We are doing what every government with resource will do for a citizen. But I think that when tempers come and issues stall, we are able to rise about these differences. And once again, because you see, the other thing is also that Ghana must realize, and the whole Africa must realize, that it is not in the interest of us to be fighting amongst ourselves as a continent. We play to the glory of those that are happy to see us fight among themselves, and they come in as refugees. We don't want that. But be that as it may, it does not also mean that we should be taken for granted. Ghana has that diplomatic acuity. Right. We've always pointed about our weight in terms of multilateral and Pan-African, development. So I think that you must register our sentiment, but you must do it in a mature way, like the same way we responded, to these issues. So I think the weeks ahead of us will tell us, what really will manifest in terms of these multilateral, bilateral visits. Sorry.
Is it enough that the South African president at a point also put out a statement condemning the attacks? And I'll just read a bit of what he said. Or do you think they should go beyond that? So this was on May 11th when, the xenophobic attacks had started. And of course, there was an announcement that by the end of that month, they were going to go on a march or a protest to get other foreign nationals out of the country as long as they were legal. So he did say, and I'll just quote that, he said, "These are the acts of opportunists who are exploiting the legitimate grievances, particularly those of the poor, under the false guise of community activism." And then he went on to say that some of these people are assuming functions that only state officials are permitted to perform, including stopping people to check identification and conducting searches of private property. For a lot of people, when this statement came out, they thought that putting out just a statement was not enough. There was supposed to be a bit more, done, because even the authorities on the ground were not acting in the face of violence against foreign nationals as well. So was this statement enough?
And this is a very important issue that you've raised. And that is why people who, they say observers are worried. It is because observation is very important, for you to have critical analysis on these kind of issues. That is why there are some people that are saying that it's a political advantage for the government of South Africa to pay lip service to this condemnation, to do it mildly, while at the same time, it's just like employing somebody to do something that you want to do, but you don't have the political capital because of your image to do. And so there are people that are saying that the condemnation from the South African government ought to have been more intensified. Because look, in politics, right, the optics are important as the words. We've seen how these the main leaders of this protest were with Cyril Ramaphosa in some past few days. And it felt like they were having fun. They were having a good time. and it's not a very good optics for public consumption, especially for countries whose nationals have been attacked, have been killed, whose shops have been ransacked, or whose people have been chased with machetes. So it appears that they are paying lip service, or they are being very mild and moderate about the condemnation, because it's caused them some political points. Of course, the South African government is being particularly careful because it has a political interest and political constituency to protect, especially when the elections are coming up in some few months ahead of us. And that is why I say that their communication team really needs some advice. Because you see, the actions of these xenophobic attackers have collective impact. Now, it is not only one country whose nationals, are being affected. I mean, it's been affected. It's a number of countries. So when the impact is collective and the responses are being collective, South Africa will be at the laughing end of the stick. They'll be laughing at the wrong side of their mouth. And so they should really take this thing very, very seriously. It affects the entertainment industry. It affects their GDP. It affects so many ways that they can't, even begin to imagine. And this is why I think that they must treat this xenophobic sentiment and attack is a big diplomatic embarrassment to South Africa. It cost them political capital, and so they should treat this issue with all the seriousness that it deserves. Begin to work at home, have a good PR, and then eventually see how they can communicate with African, leaders across the globe. But to want to visit Ghana at this very moment, or for anybody to think they can visit Ghana at this moment, or any of these African countries, means that they are probably not treating the issue with the seriousness that it deserves, in my opinion.
Doc, Beatrice here. Of course, we've seen videos of people, foreign nationals, African foreign nationals, being attacked and police officers standing there just watching and allowing these individuals to be attacked. Again, you talked about the need for the Ghanaian government to register its protests well. We just referred to the fact that Felix Kwachofosu is saying that this decline, as it were, is not linked to what's happening currently, but it had already been planned. And so it's just they feel that the atmosphere now is not good for him to come. How else do you think the Ghana can push this protest to make it very clear for the South African government, beyond the statement that came up that we've had Felix Kwachofosu bringing us, as it were, a bit of clarity on?
So, Bella, this is Bella, right? I'm talking to Bella. Right. You know what? Ghana has diplomatic and multilateral leverage on the continent. We have agency. We are a very small state, but we carry a lot of weight. This is the country that, through the African Union, was able to bring a whole UN resolution to be passed as slavery as the greatest crime against humanity. Now, if this country drags you to the African Union on the basis that your government is incompetent or unable to protect other African migrants in that country, I think that is a big, that alone is a big diplomatic embarrassment. To think of the fact that we were the first African country to evacuate. So every step that we have taken, have brought untold pressure to the South African government. And then also, with this particular development that is happening, whether we turn the visit of Cyril Ramaphosa down or Ghana, or they turn it down, the point has been drawn that the political atmosphere is very tense, and so it will be proper for you to visit later. These are all serious political statements. I think that we are exploring every diplomatic avenue at our disposal, and Ghana has it. I don't think that we need to go down the gutters, to these hooligans in South Africa. I mean, there's xenophobic, those perpetrating these crimes. But there is a diplomatic channel, and I think that we have persuaded these diplomatic channels at every level that it deserves, and we keep escalating the levels as the issue intensifies. And so, look, these things happen. Public diplomacy is important. They happen every now and then. And so the ways that the mechanism that Ghana has adopted in dealing with these xenophobic attacks in South Africa, I think that, in my opinion, there are steps in the right direction that I hope will bear, I don't think we need to move beyond that, taking over South African businesses here, responding in ways that make us, as knee-jerk responses, as being emotional than being rational. Look, there are South African minds here whose terms are up for renewal. If as a people and as a government, we do the cost and benefit analysis, and we think that truly, we can manage these mines without giving it to anybody, so be it. But it shouldn't be in response to some of these things that are happening, in South Africa. I think that everything must be rationally considered.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Nanaya Omriku. He's an international relations expert. Thank you for sharing these views with us.
Absolutely.
Really based on how international relations should be working. Yes.
Interesting. But this morning, when treating you to perk up your day the Milky Way with a rich, smooth taste of Perk Milk Shortcake, it is pure delight. When we get back, we'll get into our conversation on dual citizenship, of course, on the big issue. Don't go anywhere.
From the land of rich plantation and beauty, our story shines for the world to see.
For 20 years, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated the beauty and soul of our nation. And this year, I pass on the crown to the 20th queen.
Who wears the 20th anniversary crown? Are you that bold, beautiful, graceful, and proud Ghanaian lady to win the all-new 20th anniversary crown? 200,000 Ghana cedis cash, brand new car, and all-expense paid trip abroad is scholarship for a master's program. Participate in an international event, tutorial deal, a set of gold jewelry, and many more. Join the audition journey. On 8th July at Micklin Hotel. Takrady on 10th July at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel. In Accra on 12th July at TV3. Scan the QR code now to register.
GMB at 20. 20 years of culture, grace, and legacy.
Ghana's most beautiful is 20 years.
Brought to you by Gino Pomo Tomato Mix, GTP, Kivo Gari 4-in-1 Mix, and Kivo Hot Pepper. Obwasib Numna Wumwankasa, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Fratelli Calipo.
I mean, this show is exciting, it's inspirational for so many reasons. The caliber of the guests, their stories, the fact that we get to eat something that they prepare. Let's enjoy it and have a great show.
Yes, we're in Ghana.
I want to see how many healthy choices they'll be making. We're feeling good.
I want them to bring in the flavor because I am
From the rich traditions of the North, our beauty has been our strength, pride, and heritage.
For 20 years, Ghana's most beautiful has celebrated the beauty and soul of our nation. And this year, I pass on the crown to the 20th queen.
Who wears the 20th anniversary crown? Are you that bold, beautiful, graceful, and proud Ghanaian lady to win the all-new 20th anniversary crown? 200,000 Ghana cedis cash, a brand new car, and all-expense paid trip abroad is scholarship for a master's program. Participate in an international event, tutorial deal, a set of gold jewelry, and many more. Join the audition journey. On 8th July at Micklin Hotel. Takrady on 10th July at the Western Serene Atlantic Hotel. In Accra on 12th July at TV3. Scan the QR code now to register.
GMB at 20. 20 years of culture, grace, and legacy.
Ghana's most beautiful is 20 years.
Brought to you by Gino Pomo Tomato Mix, GTP, Kivo Gari 4-in-1 Mix, and Kivo Hot Pepper. Obwasib Numna Wumwankasa, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Fratelli Calipo.
You're welcome back. This is TV3 New Day. It's time now for the big issue. And well, our conversation is starting at this point. It's already started in earnest, if you ask me. But of course, that's just banter off camera. But this morning, we're looking at two very important topics, as we always do. First of all, the Council of State has rejected the Dual Citizenship Amendment Bill that is before Parliament at the moment. And they've given some advice to the Speaker to relook at that bill that's under review. The Speaker indicated that it had undergone first reading and, you know, subsequently was going to go through the right processes. And if at the end of the day it is voted that this constitution needs to be amended in order to allow citizens with dual citizenship from Ghana and another part of the world to hold any political office, then that would be allowed. Now, if you look at the law that bans or prevents dual citizens from holding any official role in government as it stands now, it is actually the 92 Constitution, Article 8.2. And it says, under this clause, that any Ghanaian who holds the citizenship of another country in addition to their Ghanaian citizenship is disqualified from being appointed to the following positions. So Ambassador or High Commissioner, Secretary to the Cabinet, Chief of Defense Staff or any service chief, Inspector General of Police, Commissioner, Customs, Excise and Preventive Service, Director of Immigration and any other specified by an Act of Parliament. And that, of course, includes being a member of Parliament as well. And so we'll get into that conversation very shortly. I will take a listen to what the Speaker had to say. Mind you, the President on May 31, 2026 was in the UK. He attended a town hall meeting where he addressed Ghanaian citizens living in the UK. And he touched on this matter and said that he was waiting for that review to go through because he also was in support of the review of that constitution to allow the 16th or the 17th region, as he calls it, the diaspora, to also participate in nation building directly. And so we'll get into that. And then after that, we'll take a look at that Auditor General's report where it says that Ghana's financial irregularities has hit 5.26 billion Ghana cedis. This is a 2025 Auditor General's report. In the studios, I have, of course, Solomon Owusu, who is the Director of Communications for the United Party. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
By His grace, we are still fighting. But this morning I heard you say that you pray that it doesn't rain. Why must it not rain?
I'm worried for the people.
Why must you be worried? So it shouldn't rain so that we don't get food?
I'm not saying so. You see, I came back again and I said that.
Please.
Hold
Not
on,
because water will
Solomon.
carry you as a result of your iniquities, it must not rain. God will do whatever He wants to do.
That's what I'm saying, that I'm praying.
Why are you praying against water?
Later, I came back and said, yes, we need the rains to come for our farms, etc.
Yes.
But at least it should come moderately.
How are you going to blame God?
Wait, it's a prayer to God. He said we need something.
Don't pray this prayer.
Why?
Bella, don't go there.
Why?
We need the rains. We need the water. You understand?
Okay,
It has to come. Please, Creator, don't allow anybody's iniquity to prevent you from showering.
It should shower.
Shower more.
But in a way that doesn't also take lives and destroy property.
How many people?
35 people.
35. No, it's anymore. It's more. It's more.
It could be, yes.
But what I'm saying is that it will rain. Allow the rains. All of us know that June, July, May, August, September, it rains. Is that not the case? Okay. After that, it's what? Dry season. Sometimes people travel miles to get water to drink.
True.
You understand? So please, nobody must equate our inefficiencies
in moderation, so that the people who need the water would get the water.
So now you people are trying to.
It's just a prayer to God. No, we're not controlling.
No. As for the rain,
it's okay.
It must fall.
Okay, we hear you.
In abundance. Okay. Give us more rain.
If your house was flooded, I don't think you'd be here singing.
If it's flooded, we are gone. Why?
We can't go just like that. I'm crying for the people who have lost.
So it is incumbent upon the state to do what is right, so that what you want to avert does not happen. And that is why we put governments in place.
Idaho in the U.S. recently it rained and there was flood all over. They are also they are doing what they have to do.
The state moves in there.
Okay.
They did not pray against the rains. The rains must fall.
Okay.
That's why I say give us more rains.
Okay.
Until we are soaked.
Okay. Alfred Thompson is shaking his head. He's a former deputy MD NIB, a member of the NPP. He's also looking to become the treasurer, national treasurer for the NPP as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Bella. How are you doing? Not bad.
Why were you shaking your head?
You want me to talk about government in opposition? I won't talk about
what is that supposed to mean?
Government in opposition.
What does
I won't
that
talk
mean?
about
What is that supposed to mean?
What I would say this morning is good morning to you. I believe that what you wanted to say and what you said was that even though there should be the rains, we should be careful. And also we pray that it doesn't carry anyone for people to become irresponsible in their work and they are doing. We pray that as we get along, the work that should have been done from January to about March, April. I hope that the government is quickly doing it, because if you don't dredge and if you don't clean our environs, things will not go as it should. They claim this Friday and Saturday people should get into their boats and start cleaning their gutters and everything. And most of the time, when you realize that when people clean their gutters, they put it by the roadside. And when it rains, it goes back into it. So I'm praying and hoping that whilst we are doing that, all the MMDCs would get the required trucks to quickly sweep off the debris that will be taken from the gutters. And on that note, I say a very good morning to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and Lady Samira. I wish them well for the week, and I know that they are doing very well and they are carrying us together.
All right. Well, we're expecting Dr. Joshua Jebunte Zato to join us. He's a political science analyst, but he'll join us via Zoom. Oh, he's actually on Zoom at the moment. Okay, we're told that due to an emergency, he cannot make it into the studios, but we still have him on Zoom with us. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning to you, and good morning to Solomon and Alfred in the studio.
How you doing?
I'm reaching you from my hometown in the Upper West region now.
Okay.
And I think that I want to agree with Solomon, something he said this morning. We need the rains and we need a lot of it.
Okay, okay.
We
need a lot of it, eh?
Yes, yes. No, okay. I'm just talking. This is important. You know, Tumu and Sisala is the maize cultivation headquarters of Ghana. And we have the best maize in Ghana and in the world coming from this region. But currently, as I'm speaking to you, farmers here have three main biggest challenges. One, the rains are not coming. And so if they plow, and so some people are sowing, have to sow once, twice, or thrice because the rains are not coming. So you have a lot of rain in Accra, where incompetence and government inertia and maladministration and Minister of Finance, financial, whatever, has prevented the flood and is flooding there. That's a different thing.
Okay.
The second thing is that here, they need the rains to plow for the Akule, the Banku, and the things when to just come.
Okay.
They also have serious challenges with high, unprecedented costs of fertilizer, weedicides, pesticides, and other things which they cannot afford because, you know, the economy is doing so well, but they don't have money to farm. So those are twin challenges they have here. And you know, so the farmers are saying, Mr. President, Mr. Opoku, Mr. Finance Minister, they need help.
Okay.
Buy farm inputs. They need help to cultivate the field. They need help to bring the food you eat. They don't have any. They've not seen your support. Please come to the aid of farmers in Sisala. It's a serious situation because if they don't farm here, we'll get famine. And when we get famine, and add this all this to the low cost of maize that cannot make them sell it back. So there's a serious problem here farmers are facing, and I want the president and his ministers to take a look at this.
So you're praying for the president. You're not praying for the rain? Because we're discussing whether we should pray to God.
There are two things. I'm praying for the rains to come here at the right place. Yes.
All right.
We need rain. We need water to farm. But I'm also saying that the government has abandoned farmers to their fate. And as I always say, so they are suffering. It should come to their aid too. Those are two things that the government can do, if not because of ineffectiveness and maladministration.
But you did say at a point that you had a lot of maize in your warehouse that you couldn't sell.
That cannot sell, exactly. That's the third thing, and I don't know what buffer stock is doing.
But you want more maize. But you still want more maize. You still want the farmers to get more maize.
Because Ghanaians are still eating. Ghanaians have not finished eating. They are still eating. Have you finished eating Akule, Banku, and everything? You are still eating. So we need to keep feeding the nation. To feed the nation, we must sell what we have at a good price. Use the price to invest in the farms again. Look, people here are now farming. The people who used to farm 20 acres are now doing 5. People who use 200 acres are now doing 10 because they don't. It's too expensive to farm, and the maize they had last year is still in the warehouses. So it's a big problem having.
The maize has been in the warehouse for 1 year.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
What's the lifespan of maize, by the way, if I may ask?
No, you ask agriculture. No, here the maize here is naturally baked, as in they stay on the field and the nature sun bakes it so well. So if you back it, it can stay for 2-3 years. It's very good. No problem with that. There's no problem with that. The problem I'm asking is that
we'll pray to God so that they buy your maize.
Farmers are going to reduce their yield. They are going to reduce how much they do. So this glut we have tomorrow, it may going to go into what? Into a scarcity, into famine, because they are reducing the acreage, they are reducing how much they are farming, and that is the problem. That's the unintended consequence of government not paying the farm gate price to farmers.
Noted, Doc. All right, thank you. But when you're talking to us, please make your phone stable because you keep cutting a part of your head off. We only see your eyes.
Good morning and greetings from Tumu. Everybody says that you're always there making trouble and misbehaving. You should come and visit Tumu once.
We'll come and visit.
We over there.
You are there wearing your suit and sitting down like you're a judge going to court.
Doc, it's okay. Let's get into a conversation.
The United Party's candidate in Tumu.
It's okay. We're expecting Bernard Bediako. He's a private legal practitioner and MP for Akwitia. Speaks for the NDC as well. We're expecting him to join us in the studio shortly. But let's get into our first conversation. I mentioned earlier that the Council of State has sent an advice to Parliament through the Speaker against the passage of the Constitution of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025, which sought to allow persons holding dual citizenship to occupy a defined list of sensitive public offices I listed that earlier. Let's listen to what the Speaker said in particular about this, and then we'll start the conversation.
The advisory opinion of the Council of State on the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to amend provisions of the Constitution relating to citizenship-based qualifications from public office. The bill was referred to the Council of State on 30th March 2026 in accordance with Article 291, Clause 2 of the Constitution for consideration and advice. The Council has duly rendered its advice, and in doing so, has advised against the passage of the bill by Parliament. After the first reading of the bill, in compliance with the Constitution, I referred it to the Council of State for consideration and advice. Honorable members, as earlier stated, I have received the advisory opinion on the bill from the Council of State. And I told you, this Council advised against the passage of the bill, which meant that they differed from the earlier advice of the Council of State of the 8th Parliament, which had given Parliament the go-ahead to process and pass the bill. Honorable members, while the advice of the Council of State does not determine the legislative judgment of Parliament, it constitutes an important constitutional contribution to the deliberative process contemplated by the framers of the Constitution.
And that's the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament giving us details as to why the Council of State is against that amendment to allow dual citizenships to hold some positions in government, including Member of Parliament, Ambassador or High Commission, Chief of Staff, Chief of Defence Staff, or any military service chief, Inspector General of Police, Secretary to the Cabinet, and Director of the Immigration Service to dual citizens. And if you look at the history, I mean, quite recently, we had the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, James Jachi Kwesin, have his seat declared vacant. In fact, they had to go back and conduct an election all over again, and that's because a constituent had filed a suit against him challenging his eligibility to become MP, because according to this person, he had not renounced his citizenship, his Canadian citizenship, and so could not run as MP in Ghana. Eventually, the High Court made a ruling on that matter. Well, yes, of course, they had to go back for an election, and he won the election and went back into Parliament. But even before that, in 2008, we also had the late Abu Sakande, who also won the seat in Boku, and he replaced the incumbent at that time, Marama Yariga. And another citizen or constituent within that area filed a suit against him challenging his citizenship. At that time, they said he was British and he was also Ghanaian as well. It went to the courts. The courts ruled and said that he was guilty of perjury. He was guilty of false representation as well. So he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. And eventually, he was granted amnesty by President John Dramani Mahama at that time. Unfortunately, he died along the way because he also fell sick. And so we've had a history of such incidents. But now the president says he wants to support this review. But Council of State says they're against the review. Where do you stand on this? And I'll start off with Solomon. at this point. Let's see what he makes of this situation.
So, good morning, Bella, and to your cherished viewers. Since you started this morning with prayer, it means we are in the spiritual mood. And so I implore you to go on your computer and go to Matthew 6:24. That is the foundation of what we are coming to discuss this morning. If you can read for your listeners or viewers to understand what is in Matthew 6:24, then we can proceed. Or I read it for you.
You read it.
So Matthew 6:24 simply is that you cannot serve two masters.
Okay.
It's very simple. So the provision of the Article 94.2, the Article 8.2 that you are referring to, its foundation is in the Bible. Matthew 6:24, that you cannot serve two masters.
Okay.
Now, if you were to go into the Constitution and go to our oaths, the oaths that we take, and this is the oath of allegiance. These are the words. I, then you put your name, Solomon, also do in the name of the Almighty God, swear or solemnly affirm that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established, that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of Ghana, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of Ghana. So help me God. Now, someone holding a dual citizenship, say the United States. This is what the United States of America's oath says in that regard. This is the oath. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to same, that I will bear arms, emphasis mine, I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. That is not the end. If someone is holding on to, and by the way, let us explain what abjure means here so that people will get what the Americans are trying to say. The word abjure is a formal verb that means to solemnly and formally reject, renounce, or give up a belief, claim, or way of life. Now, the British people, those that are in the UK, the Ghanaians that are UK, this is what they said before they got their passports. I, Solomon, also swear by Almighty God that on becoming...
You have a British passport.
I'm using myself to swear to them. This is what they said to them
I was
before.
just checking.
All of them said it before they got their British passport.
Okay.
And what I said in relation to the United States, all of them said it before they got it.
Okay, listening.
So I, Solomon, also swear by Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to the law.
And what do you say in Ghana before you get Ghana?
The Ghana one, I read it to you. I, Solomon, also
do you say that before you get the Ghanaian passport?
Yeah, that if you want to become a Ghanaian. So what it means is that now the United States of America is saying that at a point you bear arms against your enemies. Who are your enemies? And foreign lands or foreigners. So Article 8.2 that bars or specifies various positions that are not to be occupied by people with dual citizenship. What does it say? It says ambassadors or high commissioners, secretary to the cabinet, and most importantly, the chief of defense staff or any service chief, inspector general of police. So granted, your chief of defense staff is an American and a Ghanaian, and there is a war between Ghana and America. And the American oath of allegiance says that you bear arms against a foreign country. Is our chief of defense staff going to take up arms and shoot Ghanaians? Because he's mandated by the oath that he swears to the American people. And for me, this must not be a subject matter for discussion. It is for intellectual purpose, academic purpose. Other than that, there is no ifs and buts. The Council of State is spot on. They are spot on in saying that that law must not be amended. What is difficult? You say you love Ghana. You want to lead Ghana. What stops you from, as it were, becoming only a Ghanaian? What is holding on to you, holding on to the other foreign nationality?
I have family, I have business, I have properties there, all of that as well.
My goodness.
That's the case.
Then stick to that country.
But I also want to help improve situation.
So you can be a consultant. There is no law that bars you from becoming a consultant. You understand? So you see, when people want to exercise their brains in terms of the academic field, they introduce all sort of foreign elements into our discourse. What is ambiguous about what we are discussing?
But this is a very important matter. We've seen a former MP go to jail.
Absolutely, he was supposed to go to jail because you cannot be serving the Australian, the country called Australia, and be serving Ghana. So when there is a matter between Australia and Ghana, where lies your allegiance? And this is all not only founded in the Bible. If you were to go into the Quran and you read the Surah Azuma, it tells you that you cannot serve or you cannot have multiple loyalties. So that provision is founded on religion as well, that only serve one master. Look, recent events, it must even tell us that we dare not. The last time I came here, I told you that one of those standing trial, what's the name, the Sky Train issue, Mr. Samoa, they took his Ghana passport. He nearly used his British passport to expel from the country. Whereas we thought that he was a fully Ghanaian, he held other nationality. What is Ken Ofori-Atta doing? He's seeking an American passport. So in the event that he gets it, and indeed he's going to get it, then tomorrow he'll be in this country, he will come back and say want to be the Minister of Finance. Even now that we are not allowing people with dual nationalities to be occupying these positions, see the way they are stealing us and running away from this country. They see there as safe haven. How much more you, as it were, making it a law that they cannot come. So for me, the Council of State, and I was wondering what the former Council of State were doing. What went into their decision of allowing that? Totally needless, totally uncalled for. In the United States, that they even allow this, they are taking a second look at it. That look, because of national security concerns, they cannot allow. For instance, America is fighting with Iran. Can you imagine in the future government of the United States of America that the Secretary of State is an Iranian or the Secretary of Defense is an Iranian American? How do you then trust the loyalty of such a personality? So it is good that this advice is spot on. But we await what Parliament will also say. I think the framers of the Constitution were right. They were thinking right when they put it there that only Ghanaians, people that hold allegiance to the country called Ghana, must be holding position. After all, they have even limited the positions. Ambassadors, secretary to why must our secretary to cabinet, where critical decisions are taken, be someone that holds dual citizenship? Why must it be so? So that he will be leaking our information to the other foreign land? Why must your Inspector General that is in charge of your police, and the police is supposed to maintain law and order internally, be someone who has a divided attention or divided mind? So it's a straightforward mind. A house divided cannot stand. If your mind is divided, you cannot stand. If your mind is divided, you cannot contribute immensely to the development of one country. If your mind is divided, you become corrupt. If your mind is divided, you are fake.
But so where do you position the president's statement where he says that Ghanaians living abroad should have a greater role in national development? In fact, he describes the diaspora as the 17th region, and he went on to even talk about how much they contribute to our economy. Remittances from Ghanaians abroad alone has reached $7.8 billion as at last year. And so that underlines the contribution that the diaspora gives to the country's economy. So if they want to serve the nation, they should be allowed to do so without having to renounce their other citizenship.
Bella Monday.
I'm repeating what the president said.
I'm saying,
it's a question I'm asking.
No, I'm using as an example.
The way you are mentioning my name.
Are you not serving the people of this country? What you are doing this morning is service to the country, but you are not holding any government portfolio. There are several ways that you can serve the people of this country. I said that you can serve by being a consultant. If you have anything positive or meaningful to contribute, you don't have to hold a position before you express that. In any case, no government can employ all the 34 million Ghanaians to be occupying government positions.
Okay.
Definitely, few people will be leading, and majority will rather be provided that support. So we understand that they are also contributing to the economy, but they can serve in several ways. After all, the positions that they have identified are no more than even 10.
Yeah.
There are several other positions. But what we must not do is to compromise the integrity of our national security.
Okay.
If you believe in Ghana, if you love Ghana, renounce whatever and come and be a Ghanaian and serve. It's as simple as that.
All right.
And at this one, I doff my heart out to the Council of State. They are spot on.
I see. Well, very quickly before I come to Alfred, so Ghana My Motherland on Facebook, and you can also join us on Facebook at TV3 Ghana and contribute to the conversation. Who even came out with that amendment? Full citizens are stealing and running away. Now you want dual citizens, those politicians want their dual kids to now continue stealing as well. Francis Eli Nam says a precious mineral MPP lost. Solomon Owusu, a great communicator. Okay, they said I should let you pray before the show ends today since you started with a Bible verse. But Adolph Marty says, Solo, I got my British citizenship without having to do all that. My father is a citizen. Me and my siblings just had to come here before we were 18, so we didn't have to renounce. But again, for those who now go and naturalize after 18 years, I think you have to swear an oath. We've seen those
that
videos,
is a position.
All of us. Someone says they want me to amend it so that they can comfortably run away from the country after stealing our money. No. Alfred, where do you stand on this?
Good morning again, Bella, and to Solomon for ranting this morning. I would say I appreciate where the MPs are coming from because they need to also protect their own, especially with what happened recently. The last two issues were those of MPs and not of maybe, let's say, ministers who are not MPs or anyone who is not an MP. So they looked at all those things and they felt that, listen, why don't we give them the chance? Also, they want to import some expertise into the country. So I understand where the president is coming. But I also believe that the stance the Council of State have taken is quite good because, as we said earlier on, it's stated in the Constitution, there are certain positions that you cannot give it to someone who is a dual citizenship, who holds a dual citizenship. So it tells you straight away that it's of national security, one. It's of a situation where you want the person's full commitment into your, into your country or for your country. You can't expect, let's take a lady, for example, to be marrying two husbands, to serve in one house and go to the other. As you would see, it cannot work. And so at the end of the day, we should look at it as a whole. What do we really need? Yes, we need some expertise or mind out there. I always say that sometimes it's even good for us to have our young ones go out there to do their masters, to even get a feel of how the countries are. We've had situations where, in fact, it's not that we've had situations. We have a position where most of our ministers, they travel out of this country to other countries. They see what goes on there, but they come back and they do the same thing. I don't see them saying that, listen, I want to see Ghana as Britain, so I'm going to, as Britain is looking or as American is looking, so I'm going to go all out and change everything. We see what the input is. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself, to what end do we need this dual citizenship? I don't think it's going to serve any purpose for this country. I don't think for now it will, and I don't think in the future it will, because we need to get people who are committed, who have devoted themselves for the country, and they are ready to sacrifice for the country. We already have challenges, as most people have said, and we don't need someone who has a double mind that, listen, I'm coming to, we have people saying that, I'm coming to help you. If you don't want me, I can go back. Go back to where? But if you stay in and you destroy it, you are part of us. You should feel the brunt of what is going on. And so there's a double mind rate, and I understand and appreciate where most of these people are coming from. But we also need to study it very carefully. We need to sit down and ask ourselves, do we really need that? Because we study, and most of the things we study are foreign materials. So where from the expertise? And I always say that World Bank can give you all the connotations to what you should do, but you should also assess yourself and see that, does it help in building or making sure that we've corrected measures in this country. I don't think it happens. Because sometimes you realize that even though they give you that, okay, this is the path I want you to take, we always adjust it to suit our local needs. And it's like politics. They will tell you, when what I say in Accra is different from what I would say maybe in Joshua's hometown. Because you should, every time when you are doing politics, you should let it suit the local need. It shouldn't be about just a whole national thing. No, it should be about the local need. When you come into Ghana, what is coming to suit us? You can bring that expertise, but if it doesn't suit our situation at the moment, because development takes steps, it's not a beginning and an end situation. So whatever expertise you have there, most people who coming from outside have that end expertise. They don't have the steps that people go through, and they don't really study the steps well. So you can come into a situation where you are bringing an expertise where it wouldn't suit us because you are looking at the end result. You are not looking at the steps you should take, you should go through. So I would say that yes, I personally agree with what the Council of State is saying, but most people who are beneficiaries of this will say that no, they don't agree because they want to also come home and come and do what they have to do.
When you say most people who are beneficiaries, I mean Parliament to a large extent. I wouldn't say they're beneficiaries because not all of them have dual citizens, but they are all, you know, of course, it's gone through the first reading.
Some others are looking at their families. Or maybe I have a brother who has some idea he wants to bring on board. I have this person who wants to come home and come and help and everything. You can help in various ways. You can help in various sectors. You can come in and, I mean, you don't need to be a public official to come and work. I'll give you a bright example. My uncle, my mother's bigger brother, he became a German, actually. We went to school there. He studied the dental medicine and everything. When he retired, he came back. He went to Kolebu, worked at Kolebu, and gave his expertise without charging anything.
Oh, okay.
That is what he was doing till he died at the age of 90, I think 93. He went back to Germany. But every time he came to Ghana, he was going to college. He said he helped set up the new dental thing there. And his name is Dr. Franken. You can go and check.
Okay.
He helped set up the dental section in Kolebu. He helped train people in the dental situation and everything without charging.
And he didn't renounce his citizenship because,
no,
of course,
because
the
he
Constitution
came
didn't
to
require
give,
that.
you know, he wanted to give something back to the country.
So in the same
people
vein,
can do that without becoming Ghanaians.
Okay.
You can go and decide that, listen, because I was born a Ghanaian, because I have that Ghanaian background, I also want to offer something to my country. You can come and do that, and nobody will stop you. Everybody would even help assist you to make sure that that's whatever you want to bring will come back to
But
them.
what if that help I want to give requires me being in a certain position that's been listed under the Constitution that bars me from being a dual citizen?
You don't need to become IGP to give help with the security services. There are people who offer security advice. We get other people who come into the country and tell you that, listen, look at this security apparatus. They come and even give security equipment without becoming Ghanaian citizens or a dual citizenship. So you can give any advice you want to give without being a dual citizenship.
But in the case of being an MP, for example, so you want to effect change. You want to be the one who goes to Parliament to also contribute on behalf of your constituents to effect change in your constituency. And so if that's the case, and the law says that, well, we understand you want to do that, but on condition that you also let go of your other citizenship, which is why they're in Parliament at the moment, also discussing this matter.
But I would have expected parliamentarians to rather be more against this than for.
Why?
Because, you know, our political scene has become a situation of if you have more money, if you are not careful, you can take the position. If someone brings $100, $200, and he changes it and goes and fights to become a parliamentarian, he cannot easily unseat you. Easily unseat you. So they should be more protective of the law than for the law. So that's why I'm saying that it's a little bit dicey. If you are not careful, you would fall into a situation where you don't know whether you are going for or against. Because yes, in one situation, you need them to bring some advice and everything. And that's why it's always good. I would not go the consultant way, as always saying, because when they come in as consultants, sometimes the monies they charge, you are even better off giving the person a citizenship to come and work as an ordinary person and get what the ordinary people are getting. Sometimes when you look at the monies for consultants, you ask yourself, wow, I mean, why are people not getting? Look at this football, for example. Look at what our coaches get and look at what foreign coaches get. When they come in with huge, benefits. And sometimes I ask myself, why can't we give even 3/4 or the same as we are giving foreign coaches, so that the person will give his maximum best? We can't always have it our way. We need to have a balance somewhere and realize that, listen, what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
All right. Well, Ed Black says Ken Oforiatta's case should serve as a precedent and a lesson when it comes to amending our law on dual citizenship to take up key positions in government. Samuel Evans says, Solo, you're 50-50 right. In all the countries you're saying, there are some key positions like the ones you're mentioning that are reserved for true citizens. But I don't think positions like MP and the like should be open to every Ghanaian. I'm watching you live from Birmingham. This is Samuel Evans Ota. And Solomon was an advocate for the amendment. I'm glad he's seen the light. Adolf Mate, were you at a point for the amendment of this bill?
I'm not too sure.
You don't remember?
Okay. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
But,
all right.
But once you have a
maybe when you remember what position you were on. But let me also quickly introduce Bernard Bediako. He is the MP for Akwetia constituency, also a private legal practitioner. Good to have you. Nice small.
Which Solo didn't wear his today.
Solo is usually the one who wears his small. I hope you're well. I'm fine. Thank you for joining us.
Team and by co-conspirators.
Your co-conspirators?
Yes, I've been with them, I know.
What are you conspiring about?
Let's leave that.
You want me to say it?
I'll come to Dr. Zato shortly. He's on Zoom, but let me hear from you. Oh, he's on Zoom. He couldn't make it.
He's in the Zoom.
He's in Tumu.
Let you sleep.
What is he doing?
What is he doing?
He said come and visit.
Is he doing campaign or something?
He wants to show you the farm, the maize farm.
I suspect he's doing campaign in Tumu. I suspect.
Don't worry.
He's doing what?
Apparently, the internet is also bad, so we'll have to reconnect with him very shortly. But quickly, happy birthday to Jerry Bidi of Timpani. This is from Solomon Owusu to you. I don't know why he wants me to do it. I thought you give him a nice message, but maybe at the end you do that.
Your voice is sweeter than mine.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, sir. God bless you. But Bernard, where do you stand on this? You are an MP in Parliament. This has gone through the first reading already. We're waiting for that eventual moment where I'm sure it will be put to all of you to vote, and then we'll know if this is amended or not. Is that the right process? But in this case, yes. Do you side your president who says, in fact, he describes this as the James Jachikwesin law. So he is for the amendment, so that people like the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister and, of course, Dorcas Amfutofi, the Jomoro MP, would not go through these challenges that we've seen them go through recently.
Well. I have a personal position on this. I mean, it's. I think it has arisen as a result of our experiences. Of course, this dual citizenship thing, there is already a law. It's not as if there isn't at all. But we sought to amend it to make it, for lack of a better word, to put some force in it, at least to grant these dual citizens much more opportunities, especially what you just spoke about, to become a member of parliament and all that, which hitherto was not allowed as a dual citizen. So it's not as if you are a dual citizen, you do not have a right at all. There are, but it's restricted.
You have to rescind one citizenship.
So at the end of the day, my challenge is this. What are we seeking to cure? What mischief are we seeking to cure with this law? I am not too sure about, surely if the Council of State advised against this, they would do that in writing. I haven't read, I heard the speaker give the summary of what they may have done, but I haven't read what actually the reasoning is. But I feel we must tread cautiously. You see, at the end of the day, much as I understand and I agree, and the current legal dispensation is that you cannot. That is why Jachikwesin and others had those issues. People have said that it doesn't matter. Elsewhere, people can be. There are other places you cannot also be.
Yeah.
Looking at our history, I would think that there would have been nothing wrong with it, but we have to be careful. For me, the timing, let us tread cautiously. let us hold on to what we have, especially as we are seeking to do something with the Constitution now. It would have been best to put all these in the Constitution review, and then when it comes, we will be able to actually have it as a whole. Currently, what we have for me is okay for us.
But your president doesn't think so.
No, you see, the president, and I understand why it is like that. That's why I said there is actually nothing wrong, really. But I think that what we have currently serves us well, as the president also alludes to, that the Constitution we have today has served us very well. You see, there are some countries, for instance, if Ghana currently, if what we are hearing is the case, we seem to have issues with South Africa. You understand the point I'm making? If you make this law, of course, it will be wholesome. It will be absolute. That if someone is a South African and then a Ghanaian as well, assuming this escalates to a point where we even cede a diplomatic relation with South Africa, you get where there will be serious, issues here. And we have a Ghanaian who is also a South African. Because you may not have anticipated some of these issues, once he's a South African and a Ghanaian, he qualifies under, and he becomes your member of parliament. Even though you've ceded diplomatic relation with South Africa, what becomes of, how would you even see such a person? And it's possible. It may escalate to a point where we may see a diplomat. It happens sometimes. So some of these things, you see, that's why I'm saying that, yes, because of what we've gone through, of course, people have read some arguments from people who think that, look, it is about the expertise, what the person brings on board. It's not about where he may have, once some part of, if you want to put it that way, allegiance is to Ghana. You shouldn't care about what the other part is. It is about what he's bringing on board. Fair statement, but I think that we need to be careful. Ghana, and the way we have always viewed our citizenship, for me, it served us right. It is not about, because if you are not careful, you may also bring in things where you may have people in parliament, and I keep speaking about parliament because that's what actually brought about this bill. Can a person be a parliamentarian
and still hold dual citizenship? Especially with James Jachi-Kwesen, for example.
I didn't want to personalize it, but anyway.
Well, in this case, let me bring that up because he's the one that's in recent times has suffered the most as a result of this. Had his seat even declared vacant by the court. There was supposed to be a whole election, and it's just by probably dint of luck or maybe his hard work, I don't know, or connection with the constituents that he won that seat.
But you agree with me?
But that could have gone against your party.
No, but you agree with me that the issue of Jachi-Kwesen was not whether it was prudent to have dual citizenship or not. The case was that. The case was about when he renounced the citizenship.
But it's still centered around the issue of dual citizenship.
Because the current law is that you cannot.
Yes.
You understand? That has not changed. So I do not think that the NDC or the government, or currently, let me say the NDC, thought that he could have held both passports and still be a member of parliament. That wasn't the issue. But we were saying that he renounced it. But the case was about when he renounced it and whether
before he picked the form
and all that. So that was the issue. So if we want to take away all that, and you would agree with me that you don't take a particular incident or two as the basis for making a law. We need to be very careful. You see, it must. That's why I said I hold a personal opinion about this. We need to be very careful, and I keep using careful because, as the point I have raised, that if you see diplomatic relation with a country which has a citizen in your chamber of parliament, how would you even view such a person?
So where do you draw the line between your personal opinion and the direction of your party?
I may be educated. When it gets to that point, I may be educated and go with it. That's where because I may have my view before.
It's not an absolute opinion.
It cannot be. I mean, I'm not that kind of person who holds absolute opinions.
Okay.
If you are that kind of person who holds absolute opinions, then I'm sorry. Because, you see, we learn every minute, every day. Currently, I hold a personal opinion. I need to read further. Maybe I may be convinced by some arguments here and there. Currently, I'm not too convinced about this. Let me be honest with you. And those of us who have learned, look, Constitution, I mean, lawyers who have read constitutional law and all that, in doing anything to your Constitution, because this one seeks to amend the constitutional provisions of, I think, 82, yes. And so we need to be very careful. You don't just amend for amending's sake or for reasons of one or two. That's my personal opinion, but I may be informed better when the time comes. If I'm convinced, I'll go with it. Otherwise, you hear me say.
What are you waiting to hear before you be convinced?
No, first and foremost, the position of the Council of State. I need to read the reasoning.
Okay.
Beyond that, when it gets to, we are still, don't forget that we are not done yet. It's still going, a lot of amendments happen. I am yet to read the entirety of the bill.
Okay.
But I have read some bits of it. So if at the end of the day I'm convinced, and it may happen, it may as well happen, there's an amendment, it may as well happen that we may put in some other clauses to at least make it happens. The legal education bill, we all saw what it, but we did a lot of work in it before it got passed. So if I'm convinced at the end of the day, fine. But at the moment, I'm not too convinced. I think and if we don't have time, if I were to go into certain decisions of the courts, even indeed with Jachi Kwesins, there were some very famous statements that the court made about citizenship and all that. Statements. You see, if you give me time, I'll bring it out.
Okay, you pull it up. All right.
Talk about it.
I'll let you come. Let me just go. Okay.
Let's take this scenario. You know, in 2021, when we started this business of the LGBTQ, at a point you had the Australian ambassador or High Commissioner visit the Speaker of Parliament and urging him to tread cautiously and that they must not go ahead to pass the LGBTQ. So granted, or assuming the Speaker, Bagwin, holds a Ghanaian nationality and an Australian nationality, how would this bill move ahead? That is why you don't have to even think about it.
Okay.
You understand? If you want to be a Ghanaian, be a Ghanaian and hold a position. It's as simple as that. The law is the law. You claim you love Ghana. What is so difficult in letting go of that other nationality? It means you don't even believe that Ghana will grow to get to the point as the other country. You understand? These are they're all renowned because of economic reasons.
Why do you say that?
Mostly. Ghana and the US. Oh, we will have a lot of infrastructure, business here and there.
Ease of travel as well.
Absolutely.
If you have their passports.
No, I've experienced some before. I was working with a friend of mine. We got to Atatok. He holds a US passport. I hold a Ghanaian passport. We were speaking to him before we got to the immigration. They saw his passport. They saluted him. He was waiting for me. 1 hour. Haram. I said there. 2 hours. I said, hey, my friend, what is it? I am going to Amsterdam. I'm the only doing transit here. Did you issue the visa to me? No, I'm waiting. Because of the Ghanaian passport. But that did not deter me to go and look for a U.S. Citizenship or whatever. I believe in my country. Okay. And I believe that anybody that wants to serve, you must show. The first litmus test must even be your agreement to switch nationality.
Okay.
You see, let me even chip in this. Somebody even mentioned, sorry.
Okay,
but
I wanted Alfred. Yeah.
Yes, you come in. Yes. You see, somebody mentioned Ken Ofori-Atta, and I've been trying to, not personalizing it, but you see, yes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine someone who holds dual passports, passports with citizenship with 2 different countries, gets to, and you know our current law, which says that president should appoint more than half of the people in parliament as ministers. He fortunately gets appointed by the president and serves as minister. The day of accountability, after he is done, he picks the other passport and leave. And you know how some of these countries, they handle their citizens.
Yes.
They'll tell you, he's my citizen. I'm not letting him out for you. And you see, we'll go through a lot. So if we are looking at Jachi Kwesins to enact this law, we should also look at Ken Ofori-Atta to also, inform us whether we really need this law.
Absolutely.
And that is not to personalize it. But you see, we must also, because there should be a time for accountability. So the person picks his passport, I'm gone. I'm a US citizen. I'm a Canadian, I'm gone. How are you going to bring him back?
Even in this case where it's just a Ghanaian passport, see how we're struggling.
We are struggling to bring him back.
So I think our constitution has served us well. Let's, like I said, you don't use 1 or 2 cases just to, I hold that opinion for now. That's a personal one.
Let me see what Alfred thinks about bringing in the issue of Ken Oforiatta. Would you also use that instance to justify that opinion you shared?
I don't know his listen, because he was saying he has a varied opinion. Is it for to accept what the Council of State is stating, or is it against what the Council of State is stating?
Well, so I said that I'm yet to read the reasoning of the Council of State, but I share in their opinion.
Oh, you share in their opinion?
Yes,
okay, that's what I wanted to know.
And
also, I also wanted to know, I thought this was part of the whole constitutional review thing.
Yes.
Because you mentioned that it should go through a constitutional review, but it shouldn't be an isolated case.
Bill. It is an isolated. So I was saying that we should go through the whole thing.
Why? And that's why I wanted to know why it's an isolated bill. Is it because of Jassy Kweson's case or what? Because I don't see why, if this is in the whole constitutional review thing, they should isolate this and make it a whole case.
Okay.
And then, I mean, this is a non-starter. We all know it's a non-starter. I mean, it's in the constitution straight away that if you want to hold certain, and they are even lucky that they use certain positions. Someone can come and become a CEO, become a what do you call it, board member, become a deputy CEO, become even a normal worker at an institution or a consultant without, with his dual citizenship. So it's even there for you to have certain positions. But if the constitution had gone strictly that if you are holding a top position, that is like a CEO, a final say in an institution and things, you shouldn't get, or you shouldn't be a dual citizenship. Then maybe they could have said that, oh, they are seeing how they can work on that. But the constitution states straight away that a no is a no.
Okay.
And I think I believe in what the Council of State is.
Council, let me just ask, because there's a lead co-sponsor for this bill in Parliament, and it's Davis Ansan Opoku. He's the MPP MP for Imprieso as well. So in this case, does it come as a private member's bill or not?
Oh, yeah, I think that is how it started.
Okay.
Let me confirm that.
It's a private member's bill.
That's how it started. So
okay.
Is he?
He's a lead co-sponsor.
Yes, it's
of the bill.
And it's from both sides of the. But you see,
I don't have the list here. It's just his name that I have here. I'll check later and see if I can get the list of everyone else who's on there. But so far, yes, it's one of your people who's a lead.
I have personally spoken to him on this dual citizenship, and when we were speaking, he was telling me. I mean, I told him my mind on it, and he told me that I have a point. So I'm sure.
Well, he did say you have a point. It doesn't mean he agrees with your point.
No, he now thought about what I was saying. I wouldn't disclose all the details I told him. So I'm sure that he's a lead sponsor in that.
Because he's defended it, and it says that he's saying it's about recognizing modern realities rather than questioning anyone's loyalty.
There has never been any modern realities
what
anywhere.
What modern realities?
It's Ghana.
If I should ask.
They're talking about Ghana.
Every country has his foreign policy and then all that. It is a very dangerous part we are. So if the person holds allegiance to another country and still holds your passport, at strong point, you will never even trust the person and what he brings on board.
I see. Well, if my producers may allow, if we can reach out to OPK and see if we can ask him those questions, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime...
Even to further buttress this point, if you read Article 40 of our Constitution, 40A, in its dealings with other nations, the government shall promote and protect the interests of Ghana. So if you are holding dual nationality or citizenship, and for instance, US and Ghana, and you have been sent to the US to go and do business.
Even this LGBT, the position of some countries.
So, which interest would you be serving here? It defeats our foreign policy itself. You understand? So clearly, the Council of State is right.
And you can imagine where we are pushing them the kind of position we are pushing them to hold.
Yeah.
Very, very, very
sensitive positions. Yes. IGP, for example.
I don't see why the positions are really key. So I don't see why anyone would say that we should have a
because already they have some rights, but we've exempted some.
That's all.
That is what
about 8 positions. That is what you are fighting.
We can't also go that one.
If we are able to reach out to OPK who ask these questions,
don't forget, if you're able to contest for MP,
if your president
one day to be president.
Of course.
Can you imagine if your president one day is a dual and he decides that listen, I've done what I want to do, and I'm going back to live.
Oh, but this list excludes the president.
No, but it will get there one day.
But there will be conflict because if you can become a member of parliament,
why can't you become a president?
Okay.
They will sell the country fast.
It's a gradual thing. Once you start and it's accepted,
hey, maybe this is a way that people want to find and sell this country. We have to be very careful. It's even bringing it out.
But so away from this one.
I'm really wondering where this comes from. But Money says, Bella, I think if those positions are to be given to the diaspora, it should be people without dual citizenship. Okay. I mean, of course, then they will have to come and live in Ghana and
you have an
hold that position anyway. Yes. Okay. So are the politicians going to ask dual citizens for donations or finance to aid political parties? Neo-Dati Mills. Where is Professor Zato? Dr. Zato, he should be on Zoom, but I'm told that his network, we spoke to him earlier, but he's having some network challenges. So I don't think there should be an amendment to this. Politicians always want something that favors them. They want to loot and run away. That's Gakpo, Gabriel. And sure, if you love Ghana, then be a Ghanaian and let's go of the other countries. So they are quoting Solo 8 July 2026. Abu Sadiq and Dani. Hey, okay. Alfred Thompson, no, I'll leave this and move on. After what Ken Oforiatta has done, I no longer support a dual citizen to any position in government. Let's move on to our second conversation for this morning. And the Auditor General's report for 2025 has come out, indicating that there have been some financial irregularities exceeding 5.26 billion Ghana cedis across ministries, departments, and government agencies, the MDAs. So with tax-related breaches accounting for an overwhelming majority as it stands now. And so, like I said, the total irregularities are 5.26 billion Ghana cedis, which is a huge figure. It was recorded in the past 5 years. And in fact, we're told that it represents the highest figure in 2025 as well, recorded with the past 5 years and more than twice the amount reported in 2024 as well. So tax-related irregularities constitutes 91% of the total figure. So that alone is 4.8 billion Ghana cedis alongside tax-related breaches. Cash irregularities, 410.7 million. We have debt and loans and advances accounting for 2.93 million Ghana cedis. Payroll management, 20 million Ghana cedis. It includes unauthorized payments and weakness in government payroll control. So that's how much money we're losing as at 2025. If you compare to the other years, for example, so if we talk about the overall irregularities, in 2021, it recorded 1.8 billion Ghana cedis. 2022, 1.41 billion Ghana cedis. So in 2021, it's actually 1.08 billion. 2022, 1.41 billion. 2023, 2.4 billion. 2024, 2.06 billion. And this year is more than even 2 times the last year, 5.26 billion Ghana cedis. That is how much you've lost. I know Solo is looking at me. Let me hold on with Solo. I'll go to him after. But let me come to Bernard on this matter as well. I mean, for, a government that is here to reset, trying to help us save money, especially, shouting at the top of their lungs with regards to how much money we have lost in the last years under the previous administration. It's quite interesting that you have recorded in your first year in government, first year and a few months in government, this high amount, 5.26 billion. What's going on?
Well, Ella, yes, it's a concern. We admit that it's a concern that we need to check. It's been on for quite some time, a long time. It's no news. It is news now because of the level that it has gone. And for me, you see, I do this all the time. I will speak devoid of partisanship for now and reserve some minutes to hear him. And then if he wants the record during their time, I'll give it to him of this same discussion.
Okay.
But you see, what I always say is that when it happens like this, the reason I think you bring us here every morning, representing political parties, is the fact that we hold power to decide and to be able to check some of these things, whether NDC is in power or FPP is in power. So when we come here and we get to hear some of these problems, we should come together, especially as it's not new, it's not novel. And like I said, if he says it's novel, he brings it in, and then I'll show him that it's not novel. But it is a concern that we have to check, and I admit.
Don't let your talk be on me.
Have you mentioned your name? But you see, it's a subject matter we need to check on because, but again, when you look at it, it talks about over 90% being tax related. We know, so nobody is alleging corruption on any government. That somebody has chopped money, as we normally say. We know the issues with tax.
But we're not collecting the tax, which is why we have this.
So this is the point I'm making, that it has been from the Gadgisberg era. It's always been a problem in this country. It's only that it's the figures we are seeing now, it's more than doubled. That's what we've been told last year. And so we appeal. We appeal to authorities. Some of these information that is out now is not just to denigrate a particular government or a particular person. It is just to inform so that we take action against it. So we don't come back this year to also face the same problem. It is a matter of concern. We need to look at our tax regime, as we've always said, and how best we can take our taxes. Because if over 90% of this irregularities is tax related, then it's a major issue. It's a major issue. I am not too sure. Currently, as we speak, whatever is being done in this country, majority is from the taxes we take. We've not gone out there to borrow. Every country succeeds on its internally generated, because you cannot borrow and continue borrowing and expect to succeed. So if we fail to pay what we are supposed to pay to the state, then it means we are not prepared to succeed. So I pray, and it is up to someone to check these things. Some people are being paid to make sure that whoever deserves or whoever has to pay pays. And so it's a wake-up call to the Ghana Revenue Authority and then the Finance Ministry. I pray that if you look at it's a bulky report. If you look at it, they explain how these things came about. We shouldn't come back next year and discuss the same problems. That we still have such irregularities up to that magnitude. At least we should make some, inroads in taking so much so that even if we have to still have irregularities, it will be so minimal. So for me, I would not want to, because of course we are resetting, and I agree, it's a resetting era. So what may have happened before happened. But if it is happening now, we need to check it.
But if you are resetting and in your first year,
that's the point. If you had,
for example, I get you. For example, even when it comes to cars, there's a vehicle hire purchase scheme that's being run at the Health Ministry, for example. And we're told that as it stands now, 596 staff of the Ministry of Health received some support for this vehicle hire purchase, and they have not been able to return the money or pay back the money. That's 10.741 million Ghana cedis.
Agree.
We're also paying some 4 dead or deceased pensioners between 2019 and March 2026. We're still paying them money to the tune of 19.924 billion Ghana cedis.
My dear, it's a systemic problem. I'm saying that it's a systemic problem, but we need to. The reset must capture it. We must reset it. But there's a problem if we are to go into paying ghosts and then all that. You want us to start from where it started? It will not help. But we concede that we are resetting. And so we do not have any excuse. So I agree with you. That is the essence of the Auditor General's report. In fact, that is what they're supposed to do. Otherwise, we will not have to be paying auditors to be doing this. So this is out there. Usually when it is like this, it is the action we take that matters. I mean, the action subsequent to what we have discovered or found, that matters. So I believe and I pray that the authorities take the matter up. Look, anybody, and that is what you would always, love President Mahama for, at least this era. Nobody will be shielded. There's been even this talk about having a specialized court to prosecute Auditor General's report. The irregularities and then the whatever unfortunate findings they come up with. There should be a specialized court. That is being worked on. The president has said it severally. And that is what we need to do. This happened because it has always happened. And that is why I'm saying that I would reserve some of my comments for now. Because I have a dossier of all that has happened before now. But I pray that my brother would not go there.
What has that got to do with him? Because I've given you the figures from the previous years, and I've shown you how the previous years performed, even though we still lost a lot of money. But to have more than double in the first year of 2025 alone, if you say that you are resetting, in the first year, if you are really
usually it is the first year you have these issues.
Okay. No, I don't. This is from 2021. So if you have that, I'll let you come in with that. Don't worry. Let Alfred come in then, so that we can.
Yes, you do.
Why are you so hooking?
I want to hear you. I really want to hear you.
Bella, I'm looking at the trend, the one you just read out. 2021, 10.8 billion. 2022, 1.4 billion.
It's 1.08 billion, not 10 points. 1.08.
Oh, 1.08, sorry. And 1.4 billion, 2.4 billion, 2.1 billion. Then it skyrocketed to 5.2. And I'm glad you asked my brother that if it's the reset and we expect it better, not worse, and not about double or triple the amount that you are looking at. But the question I want to ask is that, you see, when you look at this, you realize that every year we have the Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts Committee, sitting down with them, talking to them, shouting out on them, blaming them for these irregularities. When these happen, we expect to see that the trend is rather going down, not going up. So it means that there are elements that needs to be checked. People are being paid for nothing. Because these are government organizations that they need to do their work, and they are not working. If maybe the auditor in, let's say, ECG, or the accountant in ECG, and every year I'm not paying my tax that is due, why am I sitting there and getting fat salaries and benefits? Why should the person still be at post? Because it means that over the years, as he is being drawn to what is going on, he is still not getting it to do his work. You can't blame the minister. You can't blame the CEO. There are people within who should know their work and do it well. And it's high time we start pointing these out. I don't see this Public Accounts Committee, if they are going to sit down and every year this is going to go on, because this is something that is going on year in, year out. And you realize that it's increasing. But after the elections, after the reset, it rather doubles. That is not the point. But the point is that, why is that going on? And who is being held accountable for that? Because I use the word double because there's a minister or there's a CEO before. He leaves and there's a problem, which is now double this thing. The person sitting there, I don't think has changed. If he's changed, why does this happen? Should we reverse him and take him out and bring someone else who was rather doing their work well? These are things we should be looking at. And that is how, if you are not careful, we will go partisan and we'll be in trouble. If you are not careful, you will say that, oh, because I've changed this person and this is my own person and now he's not doing the work well, I need to keep him. The otherwise they will say that, oh, my or I didn't do the work well, so whether he's doing it right or wrong, let me still keep him. And it's affecting the country. These are the basic things we keep on saying. That someone has been there, someone is doing the work. We are pushing him to make sure that he does the right thing. You've come, you've changed him. It's ballooned. What are you going to do? I expect action to be taken. And I expect people who are going against their ethics should be checked. We shouldn't leave them to walk away freely. We shouldn't leave them as, oh, it's normal. It's been going on for years. So that is it. Let's leave it to stay at bay. No, we can't do that. Because the country is bleeding and the country is suffering. These taxes that are being left and are not being paid, let's say the 92% of the taxes that are not being paid, it's affecting someone's school. It's affecting someone's road. It's affecting someone's hospital. It's affecting so many things. Then we come to the cash element. The cash element is also there. What went wrong? Why are we not calling out the person who has done wrong at that institution? Why are we sitting there and watching him? Is it because he's a party person? Is it because, we can't say it because at the end of the day, like the man who went to the Ramses site and said that he's killed 52 cows. So he should be left to, his building should be left at the Ramses site to situate there and spoil the waterways. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The mere fact that you've gone to kill, you are in this and you've gone to kill 52 cows doesn't mean that when you are doing the wrong, we should watch you to do the wrong. And that is how I expect this to happen. That when people have been appointed to a position, or when you change people and you realize that the person I brought in is not doing the right thing, move him. Let him see that it's not about party. It's not about you being a relative or a party member or whatever it is. If you are not doing the right thing, and in fact, if you rather come and do the wrong thing, we should punish you. When we start doing that, this country will be okay. And that is why we keep on saying that the institutions should be stronger than the people within. If the institutions are strong, there are so many people working under that system. Have they written? I keep on saying, and I use myself as an example. I told my people, and they'll tell you, when I went to NIB, I told them that if I'm pushing you to do something, just send me an email. If I don't respond to the email that, yes, I am telling you to do A, B, C, D, don't do it.
Okay.
It means that there's pressure. Or tell me that, no, I don't agree with you, but if you still insist that we should do it this way, let me answer to it. So people should be held accountable down there.
So surcharges are not enough, because that's the other aspect of the conversation. Because Auditor General
How many people have
constantly will say we're asking, for example, they say we're asking the Chief Director of Ministry of Energy to account for some 285.7 million Ghana cedis. It's in this report as well, and it says it's for relevant supporting documents. Failing, this amount should be recovered from the Chief Director. And it says these irregularities, which cut across ministries departments, were attributable to a number of these, underlying issues as well. So for all of them, you realize that they keep saying, so we expect the head of this department to be the one to pay, retrieve the monies if you can. But there's never really a biting...
Bella, if you tell a chief director to pay 2-point-something million, how much is the salary?
Well, he says they should retrieve it at least.
How are they going to retrieve and pay for it? Who are they going to retrieve it from? The person should be set aside. When we start punishing people, that is where we'll start seeing results.
Okay.
But if you tell me that I should go and retrieve from who? The people, and I'm chasing it and it's not coming, what will I do?
All right.
And next year, you see me doing the same mistakes or increasing on the same mistakes, and you still keep me there and say, go and retrieve. Every year, go and retrieve. Every year, surcharge. And it's not happening. And we are still keeping the person there. Come on.
All right. Well, Stonechild says that, Bella, the figure in the Auditor General report includes non-tax payments in 2024, which balloons the figure for 2025. We'll call on the Finance Minister to take interest in the Internal Auditors Bill, which was in 8th Parliament, and if passed, will give a true independent nature of the internal auditors. Point noted. Of course, we read a part of it that even says that 4 deceased pensioners were receiving salaries as far back as 2019 up until March 2026. Solomon.
4 deceased pensioners receiving money to the tune of 7 million, right? These pensioners, these dead people, supposedly dead people, were not receiving the money on tables. Is that not the case? It means the money went into an account. Now, if you went to the bank, you will see the owners of their account who has been withdrawing. Is it too difficult to go and apprehend all of them? They must be struggle over it.
Well, they said their next of kin should be the ones to be asked to pay back
the money. No, but first of all, somebody, the money has been going into an account, and there is, if indeed they are dead, and it is not connection at the Auditor General together with the various ministries, you will go back to the bank and inquire who has been withdrawing from that money, from that account, and then get the money from that person. Is it too much to ask for? What it is that this country is a work and pay for a few people. Work and pay. They have put down a system where every year they draw from us. And when you go in as a new person that wants to do the right thing, they will corrupt you so that you join the brigade. That is why many a times when people come fresh, if you have observed, when people are given position fresh, you listen to the tone of their language. As the days go by, you see that they begin to shift position because then you know table manners. When food is in your mouth, you don't speak. That is what we are doing to ourselves. We have all the beautiful laws. The situation with the Auditor General's report is like the flooding that we have been experiencing. It is annual ritual. Like the what? The flooding. Okay. You understand? Annual ritual. We come and talk. Now we are in the rainy season. We will talk about it. We will wallow. Let the dry season comes, everybody goes to sleep. You understand? The Public Accounts Committee are not making people have confidence in them. This is a committee where people can boldly go and sit there and explain how they stole from the state and beautifully walk back home. The last time, what even freaked me, instead of the woman concentrating on why she was invited there, she was fighting about the position of the Quran, why something shouldn't have been put on the Quran. Well, and I said, are you kidding me? We don't take things serious in this country. We don't take it. And so they have been doing it one too many. If you looked at the 2018, it was about 5.1 billion, 2019, 3 billion. 2020 gets the figure, 12.8 billion Ghana cedis. So what are we doing to ourselves? And it tells you that the earlier we begin to get the right people to mind the right places, the better for us. Go to the civil service or the public service and do an audit of it. This woman was brought the son. So the system is there. When I was there, this was how I managed to take care of you. Every year we take from here. They will be doing that till the kingdom come. When they also go in, they introduce their people. So very difficult for even neutrals to enter that sector. But like Alfred and my brother said, let's begin to crack the whip. That is the only way out. The former youth and sports minister, haven't we been told that he has about 580 million cedis in his pocket? Yet he's making laws for you and I. By the Auditor General, the 13th Africa Games. He has it in his pocket. Say, the money is with you. Go and take it. The man is still making laws for you and I. If it is not with him, why would they say we should go and break it? If it is not with him, why is the auditor saying that we must go for the money from him? You understand?
Because he's the head of the institution.
A lot of things happen. They all know. You and I, we know. We don't do lifestyle audit. This is the only country where somebody finishes university. The next 4 years, he gets political appointment. He has about 5 houses. And the society eulogizes that person. Making mockery of our mothers and fathers who are even teachers. You know their salaries. Yet you salute them. They are stealing from you. You praise them. Even when they go to churches, because of how much they give, their prayer is different. That I watch the pastors and say, hey, you people are so corrupt. Because of this fat envelope, see the way you are dipping your voice. Even see the way you are dipping your voice. So we know it. But society, the way we are unable to confront it. But what we fail to acknowledge is that that money that they are taking away could have been used to build your roads, schools, hospitals. So in the final analysis, they make so much. What do? The Europeans and the Americans have also realized that our people are stealing much. So they have introduced better programs. Come and buy a house, come and buy citizenship. They use it to go and buy citizenship. Then they have your dual citizenship. Then at the end of the day, they come and influence policies. Let us allow dual citizenship to also hold position. You see the way they are playing with your minds. So it is linked to this Auditor General's report. Let's make the laws work. And I believe that the reset must actually reset.
Okay. You don't think it's resetting at the moment?
It must reset.
Okay. All right. Shadrach, yes, I meant OPK, but I guess our time is up. We will not be able to speak to him.
There are 4 sponsors you should have.
Okay. Do you have the list?
The 4 are OPK, and then Honorable Akim Swedru MP, Nyako, and then Honorable Abuja, and then Honorable Amabua.
Okay.
So 2-2.
So 2 from each side. That's why I said he's a co-lead sponsor as well.
Ever.
Well, maybe subsequently we'll get that information from them so we can understand what the details are for that bill. But Mohammed said, Mr. Alfred has done well. He made my day for being honest in his appreciation
well. And that is why I didn't
of
want
the issues as a Ghanaian citizen.
Today he did well.
Adolf says Bank of Ghana alone printed 60 billion cedis.
Can I use
this
opportunity to give a happy birthday to Rada?
We said you did well. Accept our
It's a birthday.
Anytime you come here, it is all
Legon branch. I wish her the best of the day.
Mrs. Thompson, be very careful with your husband.
Mrs. Thompson is 83 years old, if you want to know.
Mrs. Thompson, happy belated.
So, Alfred, there's no Mrs. Thompson. Is that what you're saying?
You see?
Akismi says the price says that this is public money. Money for schools, hospitals, roads, and jobs. We must demand accountability and recover what can be recovered and fix the systems that allow this to happen year after year. Regards to the Member of Parliament, okay, we'll leave that as well. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Should I answer your question?
No, please. It's okay.
Thank you very much.
I don't know what answer you want to give, but I'd rather not want to know.
Thank you very much.
Or you want to answer?
No.
Time is up. Okay, Bernard says no.
Solo says yes.
I don't have power here. This is the boss. Don't worry.
On that note, the big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. And so if you're interested in a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you just want to advance through a dual MBA or Chartered Manager MBA, University of Gold Coast gives you that option that matches your vision. They also have MSc International Relations, Communication, International Marketing, International Law, Security, Diplomacy, Accounting, Finance, or Human Resource Management. You want an LLM in International Law, Security, Diplomacy, or MA in Biblical Studies, Practical Theology, then of course, you know, it definitely has to be the University of Gold Coast. And they're making it very simple for you. If you're working, they'll still give you the opportunity to find a way to still go for lectures and manage your work, and they'll give you flexible payment as well. And so study around your work and your life, and of course UGC will be there to make it easier for you. Reach out to them now. You can apply via their website at www.ugc.edu.gh or call or WhatsApp them 026-388-8555, 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Thank you so much, Solomon Owusu, for joining us this morning.
Salary for the last 10 months. They haven't received it, and they are jurors at the court.
Why are you one of them?
There's a person sent me a message, and he sent comrade, and I said, I'm not comrade.
All right,
I'm a
we have to
patriot.
go. I had wanted to ask Dr. Zato if he has also received the salary.
He has received it.
Oh, he has received it.
But how will you go to Tumu? You see, when he receives the salary, he doesn't come here.
Okay, let's wrap up. Solomon Owusu is the Director of Communications for the United Party, and of course, Alfred Thompson is a former Deputy MD for NIB, member of MPP. He's running for National Treasurer for the MPP. And
I thought you were going to say add more appellations to it.
No, that's all I can say. And Bernard Bediako is the private legal practitioner and MP for Akwitia as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And we'll give you a part 2 of that visit that Cookie had, you know, yesterday at Chado, interacting with some of the citizens who unfortunately lost their properties as a result of the floods. And so we'll bring you your way shortly. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card.
An interesting game yesterday. All of us are talking about
the last few days
it.
have not been good, especially with Ghana being eliminated from the World Cup.
I didn't even want to talk about it
looks like I've gotten over it now, and I'm back to myself. Yeah.
Okay, but I haven't, so I don't want to hear about it.
Of course.
Yes, but Argentina, we're all wondering how it managed to score 3 when it had 0, as against 2. Please make the wrong choices when it matters.
Need to keep their discipline. Goalless with Colombia.
It doesn't look like Colombia is an easy team.
And not an easy team. And I would have wished Colombia qualified ahead of Switzerland because I feel Colombia can deal with Argentina.
Okay.
Than Switzerland.
Even with Messi in there.
Even with Messi in there, because when 2 South American teams are playing, it's a different ball game altogether.
Wow.
Argentina winning 3-2 against Egypt. USA losing to Belgium. So now all the host nations are out of the competition.
Even after the Trump shenanigans.
Yes, even after the Trump shenanigans, they still lost. And then we have Portugal also losing to Spain by a goal to 0. You were asking about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
So this is what happened to him. They lost and he's out of the competition. The next competition, that is the World Cup, he will be 45 years and I doubt he can be able to play. Mexico also losing to England. Brazil were beaten by Norway by 2-1. Erling Haaland scoring 2 goals. Then we had Paraguay also losing by a long goal to France.
The one that got the senator angry.
Yes, and it's the most brutal game we've watched so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just kicking themselves about. Then Canada also losing to Africa's sole representatives now. That is Morocco by 3-0. But quarterfinal fixtures are in, and tomorrow we will be starting. France will be playing Morocco. Big game that we're looking forward to. 2022.
I know which team I'm supporting, but I won't tell you.
Well, let's see. They met in 2022. France won by 2-0.
Yes.
This time, Morocco have revenge on their minds, but France are really strong.
Yeah.
Spain would also be coming up against Belgium. Then there's Norway against England, and Argentina would be playing Switzerland. So these are the fixtures that we are looking forward to in the quarterfinals. Already, a lot of people are tipping Argentina to get to the semi-finals of this competition. So let's see what happens. But I mean, it was a disappointing end for Africa. Now we just have Morocco.
But what does it look like in terms of how Morocco could be doing?
Well, they are coming up against France. I mean, it's France.
And that's the European champions, right?
Yes, they are not European champions, Spain, but they are one of the best teams in the world at the moment. And with Kylian Mbappe so hungry to achieve big things, because at club level, he said he failed with Real Madrid. So he wants to get back among the best. And he's doing so well with France in this World Cup. Morocco would have to be extremely disciplined. They would have to concentrate from minute 1 to the end. And they will have to avoid a lot of cards in this game, because if you play against France and you don't take time, you may be reduced to red cards all the time, because they are nimble-footed players like Dembele, Olise. They just need to concentrate and take their chances. Because against France, you won't get too many chances.
Of course.
But the ones that will come your way, make sure that you put them to bed. You don't miss them. But we'll still root for them. It's Africa, and they are our only hope right now.
Let's see what they do on the pitch. But Yannick Sinner is in the news again. What's up?
24-year-old Yannick Sinner, still getting stronger. Wimbledon is ongoing. Even though the World Cup is ongoing, Wimbledon is ongoing. Yesterday, Yannick Sinner got the better of German. Australia were built to host the Commonwealth Games, but they pulled out. So now it's going to Glasgow in Scotland. Ghana would have athletes there. And yesterday we had Easy Group Foundation donating 800,000 to Team Ghana as a part of so 800,000 Ghana cedi as part of support for
almost
the
a million Ghana cedis.
Yes, almost a million.
Is
Ghana
that enough
cedi.
for us?
Well, we'll still need more because it's the Commonwealth Games. You need to take care of athletes, their work, and even their air tickets to Scotland and all that. They would have to go and come, train for some time and all that. So we are hoping that more corporate bodies will come on board and support Team Ghana. But yesterday, it was a beautiful spectacle. Yes,
Ghana.
And government will also have to come to their aid. Now we have about 72 countries competing in the Commonwealth Games. And it's just like the Olympics, just that it is British Empire, countries that were colonized or have affinity with Britain that are playing in the Commonwealth Game. Ghana would be there. 23rd July is when it's supposed to start. So let's see. But it's a great step for Team Ghana getting 800,000 Ghana cedi.
Indeed. What else do you need to know aside from
what you need to know
Daily?
is that TV3 coverage of the World Cup continues. Despite Ghana being out, we'll continue to see the World Cup till the end. So tomorrow we are coming back with the quarterfinals. France will be playing Morocco, and definitely
it's going to be very strong.
Very strong. We will be showing that game.
What time?
That game is at 7 p.m.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Damuta Yakubu. We look forward to getting more matches and more interesting games. But let me remind you that it's time to make that move. It's time for a cold Malta Guinness. When the mind, body, and Malta Guinness unite, nothing is beyond your reach. Vim up your daily pursuit with the revitalizing taste of Malta Guinness, packed with B vitamins. Charge forward towards your goals with each sip of its nourishing natural goodness. Now with a new look, remember to always look out for the proudly made in Ghana symbol on every bottle or can of Malta Guinness. Malta Guinness, we move. And when we come back, we'll bring you some more conversations. Stay with us. On your day on TV3. Now, the Honorable Julius Deborah and Professor Robert Hinson cordially invite you to the launch of their landmark publication, Citizen Experience, a research for superior public and civil service delivery. Now, the special guest of honor will be the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. This is happening today, the 8th of July, 2026 at the Alisa Hotel. Pre-launch refreshments will be at 10:30 a.m. and the start time is 11 a.m. This event is strictly by invitation, and if you want to make reservations, you can call 050-179-5891. That's 050-179-5891 to confirm your attendance. So that's an invitation from the Honorable Julius Deborah and Professor Robert Hinson. But I'm reminding you that this is also strictly by invitation, happening today at the Alisa Hotel. Now, the 2026 SHS Career Mentorship is on, and we want to bring you a conversation on that. I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Dennis Abe, who is the Acting Head of Public Affairs, Heritage Christian University, Amasaman in Accra. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. A pleasure being here.
And of course, I have with us in studio as well Ms. Sophia Casey Into Okwes, 2025 mentee and level 100 BA Communication Studies at the Heritage Christian University. Good morning to you as well, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Perhaps I can start with you, Mr. Abe.
Sure.
If you can tell us really what the SHS Career Mentorship is about, why you're having it, and the modules.
All right, so the SHS Career Mentorship is an annual event that we organize for all senior high school graduates. We believe that while they are waiting for their WASSCE results to be released, there is room for many of these graduates to acquire certain skills that will be very valuable to them while they prepare for the tertiary level. And so we camp them on the campus of Heritage for 2 weeks, and they go through the modules, 4 modules, graphic design, web design, journalism and media, and then entrepreneurship in soap, wig, and beads making.
Why these 4 modules? Because people have different or varying interests.
Yes, so those are the models we have decided. I mean, when we started, I mean, per the surveys we've done and the interest of the participants, we believe that these are the areas that they have always been interested in. And so we decided to go that tangent. However, there are other special areas, which we can also call the core areas, that are general for all of them to take part in, like public speaking, CV writing, preparing for the tertiary and career planning and all of that. Those are core areas that every one of them will be participating in, aside the models which are kind of electives for the participant to choose from. So that is why the SHS Career Mentorship is there, just to give a platform to these graduates to acquire skills and prepare for the tertiary level.
And this is which edition?
This will be the 6th edition of this particular event.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Into, you are at level 100, right?
Yes.
If you can tell us which module you chose, and over the last 1 year, what the impact has been for you.
Okay, so when I came, I did journalism and media. Sorry, I did journalism and media, and before coming to mentorship, I knew I wanted to be in the media space, but I didn't know how to go about it. I was doing a little bit of it in school. I was hosting school events and all that, but
in SS?
Yes, please. I didn't have the guidance. I did what I did from what I knew already. So when I came for mentorship, Mr. Abe here was our mentor for journalism and media, and he taught us a lot. I learned a lot from him. I still learn from him, and it was a beautiful experience. Before that, I didn't know. During mentorship, I learned a lot. And then Heritage has a station, True TV. So we were sent there and we had practical lessons. We were taught some bits about multimedia and all that. And after mentorship, I would say now I have upgraded. I'm still learning, but I have improved on what I knew. And now the impact has been great. I've been to places I don't think I would have been if not for mentorship. I'm here because of mentorship, and I'm so grateful for that.
So you said that was a game changer for you?
Yeah, yes. It was a life-changing, actually.
A life-changing one for you. Ms. Abe, tell us about the accommodation for the program, and if anybody is interested, how to register.
All right. So for accommodation, we actually taking the cost, and so it's going out for free for the 2 weeks. The cost involved is 400 cedis, and that excludes accommodation.
Okay.
And so accommodation is free. You are come to stay on the campus of Heritage in our hostel.
So you get access to water, electricity, everything for free?
Wi-Fi services, everything for the 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then in terms of registration, if you are interested...
Why would you make it free?
The motive is not for the money. We believe that, just as I mentioned earlier, we want to help our young ones acquire skills and prepare themselves for the tertiary level. And so while you come in there, I mean, many people want to have such opportunities, but if the figures are so high and all of that, it puts them aback. And so we believe that giving everybody a level ground to try and be a part of it is very important. And so for the accommodation is free. The fee involved is 400 cedis, which caters for souvenirs and certificates and other things that you'll be having. However, on the lighter note, let me say, there will be no dining.
Okay.
In the high school, we go for dining and all of that. There, because we are preparing for the tertiary, there's not going to be dining.
So people will have to get their own food, breakfast, lunch, and supper?
Yes, please. But on campus, we have food vendors available in and around campus as well, where they can always go in and get their food from.
You mentioned when I asked about the edition for this year, and you said this is the 6th edition. Yeah. Tell us how things have progressed over the last 6 years and what makes this year's own better than the previous ones.
So over the past 6 years, I mean, when we started mentorship, I mean, for the very first time, the numbers have progressed every time. And we've been also able to up the numbers in terms of even having some students staying at Heritage to school. We've had testimonies at the end of every edition from students sharing their experiences. We have students in other universities who share their experiences, telling us how impactful it's been, just like Sophie is sharing today. And parents have bought into this idea because we have parents also coming in. Just yesterday, a parent called and was making an inquiry. She said a lot about this mentorship program. She really wants the daughter to be a part of it. And I had to give her the info. And so over the past 6 editions, I would say the progress has been very significant and the impact continues to be made to these young ones.
Please, what would you tell 2026 SS graduates?
Okay, so I would say mentorship is a great opportunity to start your life after SHS because it prepares you for the life after SHS, the life that you don't really have strict guidance. You do most of the decision making yourself. Mentorship prepares you for that they don't just teach us what we want to learn. They teach you what you're capable of doing. So at Heritage, you know that I want to do this, but Heritage will open you up to, okay, we know you want to do this and you can do this, but you can also do this.
And you think that what you went through, it's made you certain of what you want to do with your life?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay.
I did.
And please, I want to take your final word as well. And if you could tell us a bit more about the law school and September 2026 admissions.
Yes, so admission is ongoing for the September intake. Programs in business administration, in information technology, information security, our nursing program and midwifery. And now we've received accreditation for the law faculty. And so in September, we are recruiting for bachelors for the law school. And so if you're watching, please, if you're interested in law, make sure you get in touch with Heritage Christian University. Let me just give our phone numbers so you can get in touch. 055-102-6164, 055-102-6164. You can also visit our website at hcu.edu.gh and then follow us on all our social media handles, Heritage Christian University, for all enquiries. So you can always get in touch with us.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Dennis Abe, Acting Head of Public Affairs, Heritage Christian University at Amasaman in Accra. And also to you as well, Ms. Sofa Casey Into, Okwa's 2025 mentee and level 100 BA Communication Studies, also at the same university. Yes. Thank you very much for joining us, lady and gentlemen. Gentlemen, we did promise you that we'll be bringing you a part 2 of that interaction my colleague Kuki T had in Chado, flowing the floods on, actually, from yesterday. So just watch the rest of the story.
Who said omujina hano pay omunko school for the last 2 weeks? Omo school.
We mo de wanga tro BC but wanga school for no woman say this week na by one uniform be everything is condemned. This week na ya pay uniform for am wanga work wanga start school.
Okay. Na me patro wan kasa dey juma na ye.
Businesswoman.
Okay. Fiti be almost 2 weeks ni wetumi akwa juma.
Obi antumi nkwa juma. And Uncle Anna Cray school and cry, my brother and for beef in our school. Want to be and to me now, be and to Yashua.
Mr. Who sends you emuna? A ya feel saying.
Not many running stomach.
Okay. And she say, no, what do you think, say, I buy a bit to me, I abwa ebusia, and in near me, I say, you know, who said, with shoe boxes, just say, I have come put a bit to me, I say, a yaka crab, because if you fear be more.
Bola, I be fa Bola ka aji 1,000 Ghana 3 times. Yeah, to be big. Even into me, you know, gas be say. If you are man, so they call blender, motor, cap, be say. Into me, you say, what?
And he said, a Bola ka baba copa
1,000, I am 1,000 or the call.
And no more 3 times.
3 times.
3,000. Young funny say, be a would be any day at a guest house, you know, why 1,000 and 1,500 a day. And as I say, what the whole 8 days in here. And it says, Usika no, a bit sound bank there.
Bibi and will be master cry. They say, be any bibi a beam, Yamina Yashin, only a hope of survival.
Okay. Me patro, abai say on my release 200 million. Say, Yan Famboa Moa, Sebio, Mohon Aka, Ewo, Fladi mo. Say, abai say, or brown near ma. Now, oh dear, if you try Honka cried, near my bench, I know here.
Patro, me here mattresses. Cooking utensils, aduan bibia because bibia say, and I even in su cry yet or in su yato in su I had to a denim in Hanum. Say 1,000 Ghana 3 times.
I insure mebium.
Insure them, say Hanum never once in a week, but a my cry after flood and my into yato. Thank me be here 1,000 near the eye cleaning.
And your man, where they walk boca because we're doing a problem. Is sure would be senior my clean so I just say, or sign eto bola befaka ebefa bola na car befa bola na 1,000 per trip. Wababa 3 times. Me ready away near my assay wahana and ne omuba sign abba. And come to me, I've seen that some of your books are also destroyed. Come and let's have a conversation. So I can tell that all your books are destroyed right now. And okay, let's take a tour inside the room and see exactly what has happened here. Can I open? Please open for me. Oh, okay. I can now understand exactly what you're talking about. Almost everything in this living room is gone. Come to me. Ma, and Patrick acquire a no, Woody. Auntie Josephine, describe to me first nana flood na enyamba and me raho muha na sena na hati deni deni me hu ha.
Raha na ma uhu TV, uhu DSTV, uhu bibia stuffing chairs, uhu air conditioner, bibia fine, water dispenser, sound system, nina water dispenser se nra ye torch ni. Bibia binyadwuma bibia anyadwuma, DSTV bibia anyadwuma. Even electrician na obe check a socket and say to me test we ono kra no and a socket or toy say it's about 4,800 and be yes be fix man.
What you can imagine pass usika akomu pa niama wa hwere nyina de ahene how pa
ni ha me pa ye me bra kan ka foforo esi hanam na oni ho nti nsu no akom ma kese o spark kra nye nti in what they call shop.
Oh, Ford F-150. And no, it was a new one. Oh. So it's at the mechanic shop right now?
Yeah, it was told.
Have they told you how much damage has been done to it and how much it would cost to even get it back on the road?
They have actually not given us any feedback. Okay. They said for now we should forget about it.
Because
it's 50-50, yes. Apart
from the car, and everything else that you have thrown on the refuse, what is your actual hurt right now? What hurts you the most about this flood that occurred on 29th?
We are homeless now. We are like refugees. Our kids are not here. They are staying with someone else. And the trauma of not being in the house is some way.
So now when you see heavy clouds, when you see the clouds gathering as if it would rain, how do you feel?
I actually get scared. And I fear that this will happen again.
Has this ever happened in this area?
We've been here for 15 years. This is the first time we've had such situation.
And I'm sure you've listened to radio, you've watched TV, you've seen what's going on social media as well. What do you think accounted for this?
Well, apart from the ocean rise, I think our human activities too cause this, because a lot of people have built on waterways. And Laboma, for instance, there was nothing there, but now they've put up structures there, which also blocks the water from flowing into the sea.
So you think those are the things that have accounted?
Yes.
For what has happened. I am so sorry. I feel your pain this morning. I can only imagine what you're going through. What's my friend? I wanted to talk to her about some of her books that, sweetheart, come, about some of her books. So you are the one who's completed BEC, right? Okay, so at least you are home for now. But your little brother, did he lose some books as well?
No.
Okay, so he's fine. At least his books are intact.
No. Yes.
Everything is gone.
Everything, even Bible, everything is spoiled. We didn't get anything here. Everything is gone.
And to say school no, we have to buy fresh books.
Even those my brother's children who has been going to school now, they bought uniform, everything.
Fresh.
Yes, everything. If not even school bag, everything is gone.
So it's only 10 in the morning now. What time do you wake up from the guest house? What time do you get here to at least to try and clean?
So I wake up at 5:30, go to where my kids are, prepare them for school, then I come here. So by 7:30 I will be here.
Okay. So tell me, what's the plan now going forward? Just in case, I'm saying just in case, you don't receive enough from government, how do you think you can move on?
We'll only work and take things one step at a time.
And if you have the opportunity to tell government right now what you need, please look in the camera and tell government what you need.
We need financial resources now. That's the most important thing, because we are buying everything afresh. Mattress, freezer, refrigerator, stove, cylinder. We are buying everything.
It feels like your life is starting afresh. You don't have anything. It feels like you are a refugee in a different country. You only have maybe the dress you're wearing, and everything has to start afresh.
Yes, we are starting everything afresh.
Thank you for speaking to us. TV gets results, and we believe that the 200 million that has been released for people like you who have been affected, you get your fair share of it, and life will continue again. In a few months, I'm sure we'll come back again to touch base with you and see how you're faring after the floods. Thank you very much for speaking to us. My best friend, take care, okay, and all the best. Yes, ma.
I was able to raise up the can bed.
What?
The water was able to raise the can bed, and then she was swimming
on top.
Yes.
Oh, so this was the bank bed. But of course, water has a lot of volume, so everything else will be very, very light. So it carried this, and you were floating atop. Were you not scared?
I was scared.
And you were crying. So that's when you intensified your prayer. So when the rescuers came to rescue you, were you surprised? You were surprised?
Yes.
Thank God you are alive. Thank God for your life and your little brother's life as well. So I can imagine how. So did the door lock or the door was open?
The door was open.
Okay.
Initially it's locked, then it's opened.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I can just imagine how uneasy and difficult this has been for this family that we just visited. They are trying to mend the only mattress they have left, or they've been able to salvage, and they tell me that they've been trying to dry this for the last 6 days. It's today that it's received a bit of dryness that they think they'll be able to sleep on top of it, and they are trying to mend it because, of course, financially they are pressed. They've been paying for a lot of things, including the cars that come for the refuse, including where they lodge on a daily basis. And I see beautiful cars parked here outside, but you can just imagine what happened the day that it rained. And we are told from that house that they have lost a car that was freshly bought. Well, let's go to another area or another house and see. Okay, this one I think is locked at the moment. This one is also locked. I see a few women gathered outside, which naturally tells me that they may want to have a conversation with me and also tell me the level of devastation. So you can see a lot of refuse and debt, yes, and a lot of debris from the flood waters also in in this area. It's actually outside here at the gate. But mamembra na menemo embo nkomo kakra. Good morning, good morning. Miami hu we esemeni
o hakra ye pa ye wakakra no ye be yira wom nso ne de ase ye bibia up to now ye ntimi na fie ye da guest house ye bibia say ye fridges.
Mr. So let's just travel back today now. Insurance started say tono. Mr. Meba, Sajina Hobium, Jina Poli Homa me, Jina ha, O Crampo height in your same. Me 172 cm, and ti o be 180 or 182. Na since you level near. They know now.
Na ye were them man who say, Precopa boom. I didn't but na and so the toa. The gu has say na aya kwa ba preocupa hu say ba fe de na bubu afaya isugum timi say trapdoor no ye buye ansa na ye fima ye dimrika ye sim no kwa say edu ye ha wi na ye de course ro ho be me kakra be me ye de course ro ho num
tubo enti no by the time so start here dey wo dream no
enso de say anopa ye nyina ye wo fie to say nim say normal water twa bia and the enche na agya na ye nyina ya sori akoye ba bia ebeko nti ye twen say de ebeti kakra nti ebe wan say ade na yiri ba prekopa ha ye ma ha so dan no level no so na edu ha say ti ye mu ya ha level na de na wa ha
enti by the time a wo hu say nsuo no eyiri no na level be na na e wo
no edu ha say nti afa mi pushi we na empushi mi pushi trap door na empushi enti me uncle mema me ensa na me ka cho so am say bibi si ha say enti omo meyi na ye ntimi mpiem fiden na ode ne nsa fam so bibi ani ha nti afa ye nam say ne ye ntimi mpio nti omo bu trap door no nti na nwa ya na mama o ma ye because of Oma ayento mu bu no ansa na yen ya ye wa ha ye timi apie
enti good patrosi from na yen tumi mo nkomo ne ye boss we dey good morning thank you for a very good job done and thank you for opening the door for them to be able to come out of your friend is saying edanum yen katwa na yen ka brofo ebia ye beke bia. Okay, so she was trapped here. Where were you at the time? No na wen fa
na me so mapie me so that morning no na me dware nti me hu say in should be every bathroom ho eba quickly no me fast and me pay me pay me share short say me be say abontin then eko me bie do na ba and in shoni na anti ye dwane freedom ho ye pay ya ba ye do ha no no so wa lucky nti ye na bie ni do no ansa ye nyina ye true me ka call access into less than 2 minutes na me bra no wa jani phone ye kwa kofu na TV no wa ha nti TV na ase no we bi wo chef bi wo ho na a cover
in the matter of
me say ade see no it was between 10 to 15 minutes
Chese ensuo no kra anhya mo ase kra. Mo ehu po se bibisa eba.
Inti me pie free bat house na me kwa kwhwe say eden na ekoso because say the ensuo ni speed e di ba no. Me bie door na edem ho nyina. Not we no, not we outside ayema. Right. But na per chance aba inside. Inti me push me bie door na ni nyina.
Me pa cho onkwala wo fi ha. Enti time
like say nkola mo anom ko school.
Okay, that was the
no na save ye. No mo ko school.
All right. Enti say no nyame ye adom a munyina mutumi e course ro no. How many hours did it take and so no etumi ko from mama mo esi form?
Nsuo ni jae ye no, it was less than 1 hour na e ko ye.
Nsuo no san ko ye.
Yes, nsuo aha. Me say, call me wardrobe level. Everything. I lost everything. Everything. Yes.
Me who said more hata nkwala nti mo books ni a omo de ko school. Nkwala books omo de ko school. Mo try her say ebetumi adry na ba dodo na no mato atwene. Wafa yenko wo dem na me hwe the level of devastation to enti wo so bola besesa wo niam nyina na
bola sisa niam oji 1000 cedis it's okay bathroom ni it's guy no na nsu ni ba ti quickly no be jina ha na paper me ho me ra inside cover shorts me share ye no me bie door we
oh, I had your highest sum kakra no. Menye sure say na more light aba.
Yeah, my light off since yesterday. Any level ni.
TV no dear.
Me fa me sanka fridge no so and the na swingi.
I can imagine. So the TV gone because I can see the level of the water right here. So the TV is gone. Oh wow, this is the bedroom, everything in the bedroom. Okay, I see your wardrobe as well. In so no kra ama wood no aperture camera na ba hono. The camera will take a look at exactly what has happened. The level of devastation in this area is indescribable, and you can only imagine how the folks here have been trying to grapple with the situation here.
Very heartbreaking scenes, and I don't even know how these people are ever going to recover from this, because beyond recovering physically, the trauma that it leaves you with is also another thing altogether.
Yes.
And, you know, I remember when it happened as well, we're asking that beyond just providing physical support, they need psychologists.
Yes.
I mean, if you are a kid,
I agree with that.
Stuck in a room, seeing the water coming in and not knowing how you're going to get out of it, this is going to stay with you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
If you're a parent and you have children in there, you're looking at it, losing properties, almost losing your family.
Yes.
How are you going
just
to deal
an
with this
instant.
as well?
Yes. And I think I heard the man say that it was just within a period of 15 minutes.
Yes.
And everything is gone. I can't imagine how they would come to terms with that. Yeah.
And I guess he's answered the question, because for a lot of us were asking, didn't you see, you know, didn't you notice that your home was flooding?
Yes.
But they didn't notice because they were all indoors, and that's what happens to most of us anyway.
Yeah.
So you want to check what's happening outside, and before you realize the water is already at waist level. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
That's scary. I started to think what they were going through at that point when the water was just getting into their homes, destroying their properties, and probably even thinking, is this my last day on earth?
Yes.
Because
yes.
how much more water is coming in?
Because death is just staring in your face at that moment. Yes.
I'm so sorry that all of you had to go through this. That's why when Solomon was saying I was praying, you know, against the rains, I'm thinking of the people who also need the rains for their businesses, for their farms, but I'm also at the same time thinking of those whose homes would be flooded, who would lose properties, and beyond that, those who may die as a result. But
well, let's hope that the measures we are putting in place will prevent another massive one next year. Leslie, oh, today is his birthday, but he was just all quiet.
You know Leslie?
Yes, he's just here.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him today like 3 times already.
Leslie, happy birthday, darling.
Yeah, he was just quiet. He didn't say anything. Happy birthday to you, Leslie. Sally, a.k.a.
Oh, Sally as well. Our own Sally.
Yes.
Hey, Sally, this your photo is really banging, eh?
And yeah, easy.
Hey, Sally on show. Star girl and a.k.a. Nocturnal. All right, that's it, actually. So happy birthday, guys. And to everyone else, happy birthday to you. Let me say shout out to my designer, Yatel, as well as usual. Always making me look fabulous. Hello.
Yes,
shout out to Aisha as well. Hair Affairs by Aisha. I love you too.
Thank you very much, Pamoni in East Legon, for my costume as well today. Always.
On that note, Yapon.
Annie.
I will see you next week. She will see you tomorrow.